Hi, friends. Welcome into the firm of Harris and Marang. Patrick Harris with you. That chair to my left is empty today. Casey Smith back there on the ones and twos, holding it down for us. Danny Marang will be back mañana. We'll be back tomorrow. Funny enough, I did text him yesterday, and he responded in a timely manner, and we had back and forth.
Progress?
Well, for the first time in our career working together, yeah, it is progress.
There we go.
Yeah, he responded in a timely manner. I was very excited about that.
See, that I did not do. He texted me thank you for the wedding gift that I got him of cash.
Thank you for your money.
And I did not respond because, well, I forgot to.
Yeah, usually when I text that man, I get a response back 2 hours or so.
Yeah,
I can text him 2 minutes after we leave the building, and he doesn't get back to me.
I'm just remembering the fact that I never texted Danny back.
He might be as bad as Andy Dirt Johnson. That guy doesn't text back.
Oh, is he bad?
Oh, bad. Real bad.
He's got kids.
So do I.
Yeah, but you like to hang with the fellas.
That's a cop-out. I don't like that.
Yeah, it's a cop-out.
I don't like that at all. No, but he responded to me. We talked about some stuff. Let's see. Where's my telefono? We talked about some stuff. I ran some things by him. Dirt's
got young kids, though.
He does. Well, he's got one young kid and almost a kid.
Okay. That's more of a cop-out.
He said he liked preschool a lot, or that Tiffany liked preschool a lot, so that was a plus. We talked about some guests for college football, the awesome news we have today, which he was super into. Yeah, It was nice. It was nice.
Yeah, I should have texted him back. That's my bad. Danny, if you're listening right now.
He's not.
I mean it. USC over 8.5.
So maybe we have a new revived Danny Marang when he comes back. Maybe the wedding just needed to get out of the way. He's ready to rumble, and let's go.
Maybe the Shade and Sharp news. We'll see how he feels about that one.
Yeah, people can kiss my ass.
I assume that's how he feels.
Probably.
I didn't tell him this, but we are going to allow him to have the floor in the Big Nooner tomorrow to give his Blazer feelings. I don't know if you saw this, but Benedict Mathurin signed a 2-year, $16 million deal in New Orleans. Now, why can't I have Benedict Mathurin?
Because New Orleans is the place to be.
No, it's not. I want Benedict Mathurin. Why can't I have nice things?
You can put it on the board.
That's what I think is.
Nice things don't like to be here.
Nice things don't like me at all. Hey, the good news is the board's going to go to 1 today.
Should it?
Yeah, there's no bad news.
No bad news, but was there good news?
No, but it's days without bad news.
Right.
Days
You're right.
since bad news.
Put it to 1.
So it's going to go to 1. I'm very
1.
excited about that. We're a
Begrudgingly.
positive place here halfway through the week. Hump day. Somebody's got to be positive around here. You coming in here with a lot of smoke, Casey.
I've been sleeping poorly the past few days. That's probably
She
why.
said. I felt bad this morning. We were talking, and I was saying
Grouchy.
something to you. We both walked over to the coffee shop, and you were like, I go, am I pissing you off? You were like, no, you good.
Nah, it's just my face today.
I was worried about you.
I'm okay. I'm doing okay.
Okay. I know Tuesdays get a little wild in the Smith household,
That's trivia night.
so I didn't want to.
I think that's also why I'm bummed out. I did poorly at trivia yesterday, and I'm very begrudgingly angry at myself because I was for sure that I was right on a few things. Oh, gosh, was I wrong. I was wrong very bad.
What are your categories that your family relies on you for in trivia?
Music, movies, and sports. That's where my wheelhouse is.
Unfortunately, me too. So we're in trouble if we're on the same team.
Yeah.
I'm good at geography. I'm really good at geography.
Yesterday was just me and my mother, and she also has the same wheelhouse of music, movies, and sports. So
I got a little history in me.
I have some history. Anything pre-1900, I'm out.
I've got a buddy that firmly believes in this statement when it comes to trivia. If they're ever asking you something about a painter, if you ever think it's Monet, always write Monet. It's never Monet. It's always Monet.
It's always Manet?
Yeah.
Huh.
Always. And he
Well,
writes it down.
Well, yesterday...
And he wins like 9 out of 10 times.
Who was the guy that had the blue period?
That is Picasso.
Would have gotten that wrong.
I would have?
No, I'm saying I would have.
Oh, yeah. That is Picasso. See? Hey!
I would have guessed Dali on that one.
Dolly Parton, the blue period.
No, Salvador
Oh,
Dali.
Salvador Dali. Oh, the dude that walked around New York with like crocodiles? That guy?
Yeah.
Were they crocodiles? Is that what he had?
Probably.
There's this really famous photo of Salvador Dali walking out of a subway in New York City with animals on leashes. What are they?
Anteaters.
Anteaters. That's what it is.
Giant anteaters on leashes.
Yeah. That's a flex, dude. And it's like 1935 New York City.
It's in Paris.
It's
I
in
believe.
Paris. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought it was in New York City.
It's walking out of the subway.
I
You're
don't
close
know.
enough.
I don't know if they had subways in New York in the 30s.
Paris Metro Station, 1969.
Yeah, I wonder which one it is. Wonder where in Paris it is. Doesn't say.
It says Paris Metro. Is that just the name of...
I mean, it's
I've
called
never been to France.
Yeah, it's called the Metro.
Okay.
It's called the Metro. But yeah, I don't know if they actually know. Let's see. Something curated. The story behind Salvador Dali and the Anteater.
It's near the Bastille Metro Station exit on Rue de Lyon in Paris.
Oh, okay. Okay. So it's kind of downtown.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right.
People thought the anteater were pets. They were just a staged photo opportunity. So he was just trying to flex to look cool.
Was he cool? That's the question. Is this a guy that everybody thought was cool for a long time, but turns out to be like a super, super bad person?
Is he a bad person? I really don't know.
I don't know. I don't really know anything about him. Let's learn together.
Last thing I want to do is just crucify Salvador Dali.
I mean, the mustache, obviously, is clear victory on Salvador Dali.
Mm-hmm.
Salvador Domingo Felipe Jacinto Dali y Domenech Marqués of Dali de Pubol is his first name, also known as Salvador Dali. Thanks, buddy, for that. Spanish surrealist artist renowned for his technical skill, precise draftsmanship, and the striking and bizarre images in his work.
Yeah, not the great guy.
Not a great guy?
Yeah, fascist sympathizer.
Oh, he's a fascist.
Fascist sympathizer.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Not a great guy. Dali was also a severe narcissist. That's probably pretty evident.
Mm-hmm.
But his biographies and his own writings describe violent and cruel behavior during his childhood, including pushing a friend off a bridge.
Whoa.
And abusing animals. So yeah, no, he's an awful person.
Do you think he
I'm out on Dali.
Do you think he ate those anteaters afterwards?
Probably. I bet how he acquired them and the process of acquiring it, I bet that's how he's the bad person.
Yeah. All right. See you later.
Yeah.
Don't need to worry about him. But in other entertainment news, Tim Curry passed away this morning.
That one's a real big bummer.
One of my little sister's favorite actors of all time. She's a diehard Rocky Horror Picture Show person.
I'm a big Clue 1980 fan.
Clue is excellent. He's the original It. Very, very extremely versatile actor. Played bad guys really well, but did the one thing that we in theater always learn. If you are a likable bad guy, you're doing something correct.
Mm-hmm.
And that is Tim Curry in a nutshell. Great smile. Like a Joker-esque smile if you wanted.
Eerie. So eerie and so... It's one of those where you're like, and that smile has so much more behind it. That's what I loved about Tim Curry, is his expressions were more than just an action. They were, I'm telling you more of a story.
And not going to, I'll say it, not a very attractive human being, but something captivating by his look.
Mm-hmm.
I am drawn to Tim Curry's face.
How he was able to just hold a room as well. Every time he spoke on screen, you could see that everyone looked around. When you see other actors starting to watch actors do their thing, that's what gets impressive to me.
Yeah, he lives in the world of underrated actors like a William H. Macy or a Philip Seymour Hoffman.
100%.
A Paul Giamatti. But I would say he was that before all of them.
PHS has one of them ones, though.
Yeah, for sure. But Tim Curry was that before all of them.
I agree.
Yeah.
100%.
Kind of the intricate-looking guy, but was just a damn good actor.
I mean, I think about that, the monologue he does in Clue 1980 probably once a day, where he's running from room to room to room. The cameras are all in stock on different just settings, so he's running from set to set to set to set to set and still delivering one of the best monologues you've ever heard. Yeah. I love that movie.
Yeah, he's really, really good. Now, do we count what's her name that died the other day as part of the trilogy? I know IT Dan was saying, I can't remember her name, Hayden
Panettiere?
Hayden Panettiere. Does she count as the trio, or is there a third we're waiting on? Because, they all die in threes.
Yeah, I think that could be. She was fantastic. I feel like they're all encompassing. Now that I think about it, the three of those, they encompass pretty much all genres of movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's right.
And the myth is the rule of three, because in 1959, the plane crash that killed Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and the Big Bopper is how you get it. So what are our three? Oh, this
led to a great Don McLean song.
It did. This website, sheknows.com, is counting Hayden as the third.
I'd give it to it. I mean, that's a childhood star. Was around for. I'm not a big Hayden Panettiere fan, but I can't say that she's not in my favorite football movie of all time.
Yeah, I don't know her work that well.
Let's Remember the Titans.
Yeah, she's the little girl in Remember the Titans.
That's what I know her from.
We have Catherine O'Hara, James Vanderbeek, and Eric Dane, although I'm not familiar with Eric Dane's work.
I'm not familiar with Eric Dane.
Malcolm Jamal Warner, Ozzy Osbourne, and Hulk Hogan.
Yeah. Malcolm Jamal Warner was, is that Eddie from Family Matters?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Some of these I don't know if I agree with. Prince, China, and Doris Roberts. You know we love wrestling on this show.
What the hell is the meaning of this?
Tony Gwynn, Casey Kasem, and Ruby Dee.
Oh, that one's really tough.
That's a good one.
That's a really tough one.
These feel like stretches to me, I'm not going to lie.
Some of those are probably stretches.
Oh, this is the big one. This is the one I remember the most. In June of 2009, Michael Jackson, Farrah Fawcett, and Ed McMahon. The Summer of Death.
There's always one that stands out above them all.
Mm-hmm.
There really is always one that you're like, ooh, that one really hurts. The
Yeah.
Dolly one, the Michael one, Catherine O'Hara, I'd probably say. God, yeah, there's one that sticks above the rest.
Ooh.
And then the third one is always I'm not familiar with their work.
December of 2016, you get Alan Thicke, George Michael, and Carrie Fisher.
Who's the big one in that? Is that Carrie Fisher or is it George Michael?
I think it's Carrie Fisher. Her parents were actors and
Princess
celebrities.
Leia.
It's Princess Leia. I mean, I love George Michael. Alan Thicke is a lot of people's dads on TV, you know, like watching his stuff.
It's Robin Thicke's father. So I mean,
I don't like Robin Thicke, but
I don't mind him.
But Growing Pains, you know, a lot of people watch Growing Pains, and Alan Thicke was, you know, a big deal for them.
I feel like Alan Thicke's just a different generation for me.
Oh, definitely. You are too young for that. And that's kind of that. All right. Congratulations. Those are the people that die a lot.
You can put it on the board.
Are they celebrities? Well, we'll leave that up to you to decide. Oakley dokley, we've got a great show for you today. We've got excellent news coming up here in a moment that we will debut in the Big Nooner. There's some baseball news to get to, web gems as well, some Timbers news that I've got a lot of feelings about. But we'll start in college football in this first hour, the B1G and their solution. Everyone's following suit. Lane Kiffin and the NBA and the FBI. But we start here with the group of six and a great announcement, show announcement for you. Next, 105.1 The Fan.
The Portland.
10:18 here, Portland Sports Leader. Don't you forget it. We are live, baby, as we always are, from the shadows of the historic Fremont Bridge. 503-864-6326 is the fan text line. She'll let you interact with us throughout the entire day. You can also jump over on the YouTubes. 1051 The Fan is the channel. Smash that like and subscribe button. Jump in the chat. We're having a good morning so far. Let's keep it that way over there. We'll hang out in college football for a little bit. Yes, Casey?
It was Theo Huxtable.
Yes. See,
not Darius McCray, who played Eddie.
I didn't watch either of those shows.
Great shows.
So,
fantastic.
I mean, I think I caught a little bit of Family Matters in the TGI Friday.
I was more of a Family Matters guy over Cosby Show just because of age, but
right.
Great shows.
My household
Fantastic.
wasn't a Cosby Show. Instead of the cool black family, we always watched the super white trash dysfunctional Roseanne family.
I was
the
a
Connors.
Sanford and Sons as well.
Oh, nice.
It's a good one.
I wonder if we go back and watch those shows. Do they still stand up? I'm sure the Cosby Show is a tough show to watch right now just because of Bill.
I bet it doesn't stand up. Red Fox, timeless.
Now,
Sanford and Sons will always stand up.
If Bill Cosby isn't the Bill Cosby we found out he is, does that show hold up? Or is it just so cringe because of him?
I mean, he's great. You have to forget, the comedy chops of Bill Cosby is still, bar none, setting a standard that people don't necessarily realize. But
oh, sure.
You can't not recognize it.
He's an all-time, very difficult to separate the art from the artist.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very difficult.
Oh, yeah.
We got a lot of college football to get to this hour. We'll update you on NFL players, professionals, basically, coming back to college sports. We'll get into a little bit of Lane Kiffin and his departure from Ole Miss, but we have great, wonderful show announcement for you. Today at the Big Nooner and every Wednesday during college football season, we haven't decided if we're going to do it at 12:15 or 12:30, but we are launching a top 10 poll that looks at the top 10 teams of the group of 6.
Juiced up.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I would like to give a shout out to the Sunrise guys for helping me name this. This is the top 10 G-spot of teams that will be vying for playoff berths in the college football playoff. Look, we all laugh and joke about the G6, but the G6 is something near and dear to my heart, near and dear to your heart, Casey.
Amen to that.
And someone's got to get in.
Someone's got to get in.
So if nobody else is going to do it, then damn it, I'm going to do it.
It's going to be me.
Damn it, Jim.
It's going to be us. We're going to do it here on Wednesdays. And the Big Nooner today, we will kick off the first ever top 10 preseason poll of the top 10 G-spots. Look, G-spots are important to me, and they should be to you. And we've got 10 of them for you today. I even got a little bit of breakdown. It just plays with itself. I even got a little bit of a breakdown on a lot of these teams and how they look. Dude, some of these teams have pretty brutal schedules.
Oh, yeah.
Like
my Oregon State Beavers.
And some of them are conference brutal schedules just because you can play in a tough conference, but also some of them are just like their non-conference schedule is wild. And maybe if some of the big boys in you quote-unquote Power 4, maybe if you guys actually played some real teams, you would have a hell of a gauntlet to get to the college football playoff.
Talking to you, SEC.
Yeah, without a doubt. Dude, I'm telling you, man, some of these teams, when I looked at their schedules, if they run the table and have like one loss, they will deserve to be in the playoff.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot of squads like that. And so I'm very, very excited to get into that. Obviously, I'm biased because Wazoo is a G6. Oregon State is a G6.
Go Beavs.
I will give you some quick breaking news here as a tease to the top 10 G-spot at the Big Nooner today. Washington State and Oregon State did not make the cut. I'm sorry. I apologize. It's just kind of we're not there yet. We're not there yet. But I firmly believe the G6 could be something really, really rad if they let it be. If there was some way to take all the best teams in the G6 and just put them in one conference, dare I say that would be back to a Power 5.
I like the sound of that.
Mm-hmm.
On paper, I really like the sound of that.
Right?
But what quality of football are we getting?
Dude, I think we would get real good quality, and that's what's really exciting about it, I think, for this year. The Mountain West has been revamped. Mm-hmm. The Pac-12 is debuting. The American has so much turnover in coaching, quarterbacks, and just players in general that's become really fascinating. I've got a service academy on this list. The Sun Belt makes an appearance. You know, like, if you could find that and they all match themselves into one power conference, you're talking Boise State, Wazoo, Oregon State, San Diego State. You can grab them with a Memphis, Tulane, USF. You know, get James Madison out of the Sun Belt and throw him in one big one. Hell yeah, brother. I think that would work really well. And if nobody's going to give the attention to the G6, then I'm going to. Because I'll tell you what, guys, the key to the heart is always going to be the G6. If you can find that spot and you hit it, there could be a lot of potential there for you.
Easy ride.
I know what I'm doing here. Look, I didn't choose this life, okay? Y'all left me behind.
This life chose us.
Without a doubt. Y'all left us behind, so we're here picking up the pieces, playing real schedules, playing real GD schedules.
My team plays 2 teams out of conference that are top 30 programs in college football. To start the season.
In my first 4 games, I got UW and Arizona. Some people think Arizona's a dark horse this year.
I wouldn't doubt it.
That's my first 4 games. What's Indiana's first 3 games, huh? Losers. I can't bash on Oregon. They have Boise State, who may or may not appear in
North
top
Texas
10
and
list.
Howard.
I know. If this were North Texas last year, buckle me up.
Well, North Texas is still a nice program.
It is a nice program, but they lost their head coach and their quarterback.
But then you play Western Kentucky. That's where I got
problems. My school also plays Duquesne, which I did not know had a football program. I know that
they were just basketball.
Yeah, I thought they were just basketball too. I think I said it once to Danny. He was like, "What's your preseason schedule?" And I was like, "Well, we start with UW. I forget who's number 2. Then we get Duquesne." He's like, "No, you read that wrong. Is it somebody else?" And I was like, "No, it's Duquesne." He was like, "No, you read that wrong. They don't play football." And I was like, "Actually, they do."
My team's got Montana.
We don't have the dreaded Portland State on our schedule, which we love to lose all the time. So that's a plus. Look, the group of 5, the group of 6 is not going anywhere, okay? They're going to be around. Oh, right, Kansas State. Dude, that's a real Big 12 school. 3 real schools in our first 4 games. So, yeah, I get a little Duquesne, all right? If you get North Texas, Western Kentucky, and the Iowa School for the Blind, then I get to play Duquesne after 3 real schools.
I don't mind that.
I know. Just letting it sink in here for a moment.
You got to get yourself some wins early to make the wins against the Duquesnes of the... Got to make them stick more.
And I think these schools deserve more than when Oregon hosts James Madison in a playoff. Everyone's just like, "Oh, James Madison, they suck. They can't hang with this. This game's going to be a blowout." It's like, well, yeah, it is, but like, you're just saying that and you don't know anything. You're uneducated. So the firm here is going to educate you on what the group of 6 is going to look like and what the pathway is. And here's another great thing. This year, I don't know if I'd have to go back and do some research, and I might go back and do research, but one of the best things about this top 10 list that I've created, a lot of these teams play each other and early, and many of them. And so what's funny, it's like the 2 of the teams on this list play each other Saturday. And so, like, how does that go? There are teams on this list that I know from the jump are going to get knocked down. But do they fall back? Do they climb back up as the season progresses? And I think it'll be fun to watch that. See how that matures, so to say.
We'll keep our eyes on it so you don't have to.
Meow.
Exactly.
Because it's still going to be fun.
It's still going to be fun. What's the greatest G6 squad of all time?
It's got to be Boise State.
Yeah?
Boise State. It's got to be Kellen Moore's Boise State team.
And do we not count Washington State and Oregon State because they haven't been G6 for long enough?
I still would take Boise State, that Kellen Moore Boise State team.
Is Boise State a better program overall?
In the pantheon of college football? Yeah.
Okay.
They've got a guy on the cover. Kellen Moore's on the cover of a video game.
That's touche.
That's Boise State we're talking about.
My squad has a number 1 overall and a number 2 overall quarterback taken in a draft.
That went
And
to
Rose Bowls.
That went to other schools, though.
Fair.
That's
Drew Bledsoe didn't. Neither did Ryan Leaf. See, you're thinking of Cam Ward.
I was thinking of Cam Ward.
Ryan Leaf, dude. That's Wazoo for life.
Well,
Drew Bledsoe.
Again, Ryan Leaf.
I know.
Tough burnout.
Great college quarterback.
Great college
quarterback.
But I'll take Manning.
Sure, me too. So that's it. At the Big Nooner today, we will unveil the first ever top 10 G spot of the group of 6. We'll break down some of these squads. We'll look ahead at some of those matchups. We'll do it every single Wednesday. Casey and I are still working on it. I got to chat with Danny a little bit. He approves of this. He's stoked about it. So I'm happy that he's on board with that. We'll decide either 12:15 or 12:30 every Wednesday during the college football season. Let's stick in college football, though, and let's move into the group of 4 and the B1G solution that everyone seems to be following. And it's like, thank you guys for kind of making sense of it all. There's Casey with sports.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, some Portland Timbers news for you as Scottish club Rangers have agreed to a deal with Timbers to sign forward Kevin Kelsey. According to Tom Bogert of The Athletic, unconfirmed reports state that the club has purchased his contract for $13 million, as Kelsey has been a premier goal scorer for the Timbers this season, creating 11 goal contributions in 20 matches. Over to the WNBA as your Portland Fire fell to Paige Beckers and the Dallas Wings 96-78 last night. 5 Wings players finished the game in double figures as Paige Beckers posted her third double-double of the season. She finished with 22 points, 11 assists, and 2 steals. Fire are back in action this Friday, taking on the Atlanta Dream in College Park at 4:30. Some NFL news for you as New York Giants wide receiver Calvin Austin III suffered a torn ACL in his right knee. Austin went down while running a route in Giants practice on Tuesday and was poised to play a significant role as a slot receiver, and he will now miss the entire 2026 season. And finally, some NBA news for you as Benedict Mathurin has agreed on a 2-year, $16 million deal with the New Orleans Pelicans. Last season, Mathurin averaged 17.6 points, 5.4 rebounds, and 2.4 assists in 54 games with both the Pacers and the Clippers. And for more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Lowercase from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The home of the firm of
College football coverage on The Fan is presented by Xfinity. Score the most reliable Wi-Fi. One prize, 5 years, guaranteed. Xfinity. Imagine that. Well, it was rumored all throughout yesterday and finally came to fruition. The B1G has come out and made the statement that they will not allow any player that has played for a professional team in any aspect to return to play college football, to play college basketball, men's and women's. According to Marcelo, there's Marcelo on Twitter, he stated, if a Big Ten team plays a former NFL player, the head coach will be suspended for 50% of the contests and the school will face a fine. So the idea is that this is just not going to happen. And thankfully enough, it sounds like the ACC is following suit and the Big 12 is not far behind that. And this is where the power vacuum gets really crazy to me, because this conversation we're having about the B1G actually putting their foot down and making legit, sane rules when it comes to eligibility, it's not about the fact that they're right. I mean, cool, yeah, you did the right thing. I think it was pretty obvious what the right thing was to do. It's more about being the ones that are aggressive, being the ones that are on the forefront, dictating how things are going to go. The SEC kind of sitting around going, well, we disagree, but we're not quite sure. It's the opportunity that the SEC misses. You couple that on top of, we made some jokes yesterday when Joe was in with me, made some jokes about how, the SEC is just bitter and they haven't won a title in over 3 years, and I don't know if they'll win one this year. And we laughed that if they do, it might be Texas or Oklahoma, which are Big 12 schools. And these are the opportunities in the power struggle that is college football to be able to get in front of it and plant your flag as the governing body of college football. If nobody else is going to do it right now, again, I've made the joke that there should be like a sliding scale of who runs college football more right now, the Big Ten or the SEC. Right now, that arrow is, for me, heading heavier over to Petiti. Now, I don't trust Petiti or Sankey in any aspect, but if I had to choose one, right now, I'm probably choosing Petiti.
Mm-hmm. I have to agree with that because the SEC hasn't shown me anything that says that they care about the entire landscape of college football. They just care about the Southeastern Conference.
Right, and I understand that, and you should. It is not Sankey or Petiti or Teresa Gould or Tim Pernetti. It's not their job to govern all of college football. However, when you have the kind of power that the B1G does, that the SEC does, the Big 12 doesn't have the same power. The SEC a little bit behind the Big 12, but there's still voices to hear. Mm-hmm. And to be the ones that step out and say, this is how it's going to go, this is what we're going to do, I think puts you at the forefront. Because let's think about this. When these guys all get together at some point, which I think is inevitable, who's going to run it?
Because I think what's going to end up happening is the SEC is going to realize that they're not even close to the top of the power vacuum, because the Big 12 is going to probably make a jump in ways that surprises a lot of programs. Who do we think the top teams out of the out of the SEC are this year?
Georgia, Texas, Oklahoma. Those are really the only ones that I have faith that can do something.
And two of them are new guys to the party.
Exactly. LSU I might believe in. We'll see. There's a lot of moving factors in there. But it's not Alabama for me. Mm-hmm. I think Texas A&M and Ole Miss might be a little hyped up. We'll see. I could be wrong.
The new guys from the party who came from the Big 12, they're going to have more of a say in the conversation about the SEC, and we'll see how that changes the landscape of college football, because I think the SEC just doesn't hold the power that they think they do.
I know. I agree with you as well. And the Big 12 will never be the size of the SEC. That's not what I'm about to say.
Yep.
However, watch for the Big 12, okay? Texas Tech is getting a ton of money put in that program. BYU is building a juggernaut. Can ASU be a part of that conversation with Kenny Dill down there? They've got a huge alumni fan base at Arizona State. Where does Utah sit in the pantheon of all this? And then you've got your Baylors and some other teams, Kansas State, West Virginia, that are going to kind of maybe struggle here and there. But what happens if we find out that some billionaire went to Indiana like we did last year? It turns out they went to Baylor.
Again, what happens when another RG3 walks in the building and Baylor goes through that ebbs and flow once again?
Exactly. And Bleak here on the YouTube says it best. If you're going to be a leader, you need to lead with honor and integrity, and the SEC doesn't act with either of those. It's kind of just the and the Big Ten. Look, the Big Ten is also trying to self-preserve the Big Ten. They don't want the PR hit. They also probably truly believe that it's a bad look and it's not right, quote unquote right, whatever that is. But they also know that when they speak, the rest of us are listening. Mm-hmm. And the SEC used to have that power, but I think SEC came across more like the bully. That when the SEC told you what was going to happen, you just sat there and took it because you knew you couldn't do anything about it.
To me, it feels like the SEC felt like they were the pimp, and they were just shelling out stuff where they could left and right, and all of a sudden they realized that, well, we don't have what we used to.
Yeah, it's almost nouveau riche in the sense. I've talked about nouveau riche a lot, and I think it's a great way to look at programs that have money now all of a sudden. Texas Tech is a little nouveau riche. Oregon was the first nouveau riche, but it's been 20-plus years, so I don't necessarily count them as nouveau riche anymore. But the SEC is kind of acting like that. They told us what to do. They spent their money. They flashed their dollars, won their titles, told us what to do, put 1,000 people in the NFL, and we just had to sit there and take it. And then one day, I think the Big Ten and the rest of college football punched them back in the face and said, you know what? I don't want to be told what to do. If Georgia goes on that incredible run, Lanning's first year at Oregon, Georgia goes on that incredible run, wins their second national title in a row. That is one of the best college football teams of all time. Speak with that. If Kirby wins 2 in a row and wants to come out and tell me how I should feel, I'm going to listen.
To me, it feels like the SEC was really good at doing the backdoor salesman and was fantastic at it, did it better than everyone else in the past, and now we've reached the point where we don't need to go through the back door like Ed Ogeron says.
Exactly.
We're going through the front door. And guess who's better at going through the front door? The Big Ten.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I was just going to say, if Kirby wins 2 titles in a row and wants to tell me what to do, I will at least listen to him. But it's now at the point where I don't have to listen to him. I can say, congratulations, Kirby. You're a fantastic coach. Your program at Georgia is one of the dyed-in-the-wool top 5 programs in college football. But I don't have to do what you say anymore. And I think this also opens up the Big Ten to kind of say, if they come out and say something that you disagree with, you can say, I disagree with that, instead of, you guys are idiots, and I'm tired of hearing from you.
But I think Kirby is one of the
You get more leniency.
I think Kirby's just one of the few coaches in the SEC right now that carries weight with everything that he says.
Yeah.
I don't think Kalen DeBoer carries that same weight.
No.
I don't think...
No, the Alabama luster is gone without Saban.
I don't think the head coach at Mississippi State has that same type of weight. I don't think the head coach at Tennessee holds that same type of weight.
Dude, Sark, I roll my eyes, So Sark's a good coach. Texas is a great program, one of the best of all time, but I don't have to listen to what Sark says.
The SEC had foundational coaches that were stamps on college football that every single time that they spoke, we made sure to listen to. I don't feel that same way nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Now the guys I want to listen to are the younger guys.
Dan Lanning, Kurt Signetti, Marcus Freeman.
Yep, those are the guys I want to listen to. And if you want some of the older guys, Kurt Signetti is a great point. Kyle Whittingham, I'll listen to Kyle Whittingham.
Mm-hmm. But I don't necessarily want to listen to anything else that's going on in that program.
No, I don't want to hear from...
Because he's the Band-Aid.
I don't want to hear from Lane. I don't want to hear from Sark. I don't want to hear from DeBoer. Kirby's fallen into that, and it's not fair. Dabo, I don't want to hear from Dabo.
Kirby's fallen into it because people are... Again, football is very much a what have you done for me lately? It's just been long enough where people start to forget. But Kirby still carries that weight.
I grew up a Pac-10 fan, okay? Went to my grandma's house every New Year's Day. We watched the Rose Bowl. Always rooted against whoever the Big Ten rep was, unless it was the Huskies in the Pac-12, which I remember Purdue beating them in a Rose Bowl. Go Drew Brees. We always rooted for the Big Ten. Or always rooted against the Big Ten.
You have to be a Chargers fan. You have to be a Chargers fan.
Always rooted against the Big Ten. When Ryan Day talks, I don't have to agree with him, but I'm listening. I'm curious what you have to say. Mm-hmm. Kyle Whittingham in Michigan, I'm curious what you have to say.
100%.
Definitely Kurt Signetti. Even James Franklin to a point when he was at Penn State. he could be a little bit of a red ass sometimes on the sidelines and definitely doesn't win as many games as he should have at Penn State. But I truly felt he was a guy that cared about college football. I'd listen to you.
I think you listened to him when he talked about the landscape of college football because he holds that respect in that regard. But I think we also listen to James Franklin for the wrong reasons. To criticize, to critique, to poke holes in.
And I think that's more on-field stuff than actually what he believes. You know, like Dane Lanning could fall into that category. Marcus Freeman could fall into that category. I have famously said, and I'm going to die on this hill, in the next 5 years, Dan Lanning and Marcus Freeman will have titles. I don't know when, I don't know how, I don't know what, but I truly believe those two will have titles. If in 5 years they don't, then yeah, maybe I stop listening to what you have to say, but that's only because of on-field games, not because I don't think you care about what college football should be. And speaking of the SEC stepping in it, we're so scared that you guys are going to steal stuff that we have to bring in the FBI. Let's do that next. Casey's helping me out today. Solo Dolo, The Firm, 105.1 The Fan, and the Fan Sports Network. You know, in the NFL, they always say don't half the teams that made the playoffs miss the playoffs the next year. We'll have a little fun with that and look through and see which teams that made the playoffs last year in the NFL won't make them this year. We'll do that at the top of hour number deuce, plus some baseball coming up for you as well, along with Web Gems. We will unveil the first ever top 10 G-spot in the Big Nooner, your group of 6 playoff-bound team. Which one's it going to be? We'll get to that in the Big Nooner. But sticking with some college football here for a little bit, a story I've been trying to get to for the last few days, just been moving stuff around. This is the Lane Kiffin's move to LSU and the repercussions that fell to Ole Miss. Talking, Walker Jones is the executive director of the Grove Collective, which is Ole Miss's NIL program. Joined maybe the greatest name for a podcast of all time, the Assorted Crackers podcast.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. And kind of talked about what it was like in the transition of Lane Kiffin leaving Ole Miss to go to LSU. Now, there's a lot of interesting things that he says in here, and I don't know how to, kind of in our conversation, we were just talking about how the SEC will do anything to stay on top, and now they're kind of like the bully that got punched in the face and nobody wants to deal with them anymore. I can't tell if this is a Lane thing, an LSU thing, an SEC thing, or a college football thing. I tend to think it's more of an SEC Lane LSU thing.
To me, it seems like LSU is doing everything to not 10 toes down this. They sit in every camp possible on each side of the fence.
What this guy said, what was his name? Walker Jones. Walker Jones was quoted on this podcast saying, what people don't realize, too, is half the staff was going to LSU. So we literally had to have 2 different text threads, 2 different staff meetings. We had to ask coaches to leave the room. We had no hall room conversations, nothing written down, nothing written on the grease boards in the office, because half the staff we literally were going to be competing against. We actually had the FBI come through and walk the building for bugs and for everything. We knew kind of what was in Baton Rouge, and we knew how they operated. I remember getting on my knees and looking underneath my desk, like checking for, is there some sort of bug in my office? Somebody was like, what are you doing? I'm like, you just trust me. You don't know this guy like I did. That's wild. Look, I understand, like, guys leave, and there's cheating all across the board. You know, Connor Stallions, Michigan is the biggest one that comes to fruition in my brain. But this idea that Lane is, because it feels, if you were to go to that length of bug the office, I know everyone's looking for a competitive advantage. That, to me, is sad. If you need to bug Pete Golding's office that used to be yours,
that's really snaky.
I don't even know if it's snaky to me anymore. I feel bad for you. You know, now I feel bad for the bully. And that, I think, tells more of the story and more of the truth than you could ever think of. When you just, it's like anytime I ever see somebody about to like get in a bar fight or something, or 2 friends that are really mad at each other and for no reason, the person that holds that grudge the most is usually the person I feel sorry for, because you don't understand the volume of your actions right now. And you don't understand how much the gravity of your actions will hurt you in the long run.
How did this story, I guess, come about, or how did it get dropped?
I think it's Walker Jones talking on this podcast. I'm reading this article from the Daily Mail, which I know can be a little bit of a trashy newspaper, but I saw the story was on ESPN not too long ago. I'm not sure exactly, other than his comments on this podcast. We knew we had a chance to retain a ton of talent and be a top 10 team coming in this year, which we are. So it was all about the players at the time and giving them the best chance to almost win the national championship, which we were a minute away from playing for it and then rebuilding it. And so a lot of sleepless nights. As a matter of fact, I spent several nights sleeping at the Manning Center, and we worked 24/7 to keep our roster and to keep the program going.
College football is back. This is like Game of Thrones.
Dude, and today is the 26th, September 19. LSU at Ole Miss. College game day will be there.
Count down the days.
It'll be a 4 o'clock kick. I don't know if there could be a game in college football that would take more eyeballs off.
I mean, how is this not exactly like Game of Thrones?
It is.
To me, this is, well, okay, this is completely, take the Lannisters. We'll take one single house, and we'll just create a bunch of infighting within that single house. That way, they're only worried about fighting each other. They're not even worried about the bad Big Ten or the Big 12, who are creeping up because winter is coming.
Without a doubt. I'm looking at the schedule for that weekend, September 19th, 2026. Your Oregon Ducks play Friday, so you don't got to worry about that. Friday game, sneaky great game, Houston at Texas Tech. Color me intrigued.
I just love how much smoke is getting thrown on the SEC non-football based.
Right.
All the negative
Right.
spotlight that they're getting right now is non-football, and it only highlights the Big Ten and the Big 12 and lifts them up more. That's what's really interesting to me in all of this.
The day of Ole Miss
Because
hosting
the timing is rather convenient.
the schedule, the day of Ole Miss hosting LSU. We got a nice G-spot matchup here in North Texas at Texas State. Florida State at Bama, that's in the afternoon. SMU Louisville, that's not going to take away from it. Obviously, Duquesne at Wazoo is super important. I don't think I haven't seen anything that looks like it's going to take away from it. Scrolling. Michigan State at Notre Dame, BYU at Colorado State, New Mexico at Oklahoma, James Madison at San Diego State. That's some nice G-spot crime on crime right there. Yeah, that's your game of the day. It's not even close. 4:30 kick on ABC. Oxford. Ole Miss currently 1.5-point favorite. Over under 57.5. Buckle up. Oh, Lane. Oh, poor Lane. The Lane train. When do we start to feel bad for Lane? Like season 4 and he hasn't been to the playoff, or he's been once and lost to Memphis?
I'm not feeling bad.
Yeah,
I'm going to continue not to feel bad.
It's going to take a while to feel bad for old Lane Kiffin. Let's switch over to the NFL. If half the teams miss the playoffs, do we have half of the teams from last year missing the playoffs? We'll go through that. Hour number deuce is next. 105.1 FM, 1080 AM.
$30 million. From the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, some Portland Timbers news for you, as Scottish club Rangers have agreed to a deal with the Timbers to sign forward Kevin Kelsey. According to Tom Bogert of The Athletic, unconfirmed reports state that the club has purchased his contract for $13 million, as Kelsey has been a premier goal scorer for the Timbers this season, creating 11 goal contributions in just 20 matches. Over to the WNBA, as your Portland Fire fell to Paige Beckers and the Dallas Wings 96-78 last night. 5 Wings players finished the game in double figures as Paige Beckers posted her third double-double of the season. She finished with 22 points, 11 assists, and 2 steals. Fire are back in action this Friday, taking on the Atlanta Dream in College Park at 4:30. Some NFL news for you, as New York Giants wide receiver Calvin Austin III suffered a torn ACL in his right knee. Austin went down while running a route in Giants practice on Tuesday and was poised to play a significant role as a slot receiver, and he will now miss the entire 2026 season. And finally, some NBA news for you, as Benedict Mathurin has agreed on a 2-year, $16 million deal with the New Orleans Pelicans. Last season, Mathurin averaged 17.6 points, 5.4 rebounds, and 2.4 assists in 54 games with both the Pacers and the Clippers. And for more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Lowercase from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The Fan is live on YouTube and Twitter.
Hour number deuce here. If you're missing the first hour, you can download that, the Fan Podcast, 1051thefan.com, the Odyssey app, wherever you get your podcasts. Give Casey about 15, 20 minutes. We'll have that first one up. If you can't wait, dude, just jump on the Odyssey app. Roll over to YouTube, 1051 The Fan. Rewind, fast forward. Except for in the future, that would be impossible. Isaac Ropp had a wonderful tribute to Dolly Parton yesterday to start that show. If you want to go back and listen to that, really well done. I was pretty captivated listening to it. I thought they did a great job on primetime about that. And if you missed the Dirty Poll this morning, it rolled on into Tejas, Texas. Made the new list. I believe that is number 8 on the Andy Dirt Johnson Dirty Poll, or 7. I think it's 8 if I get my math correct. If you missed that, you can check that out wherever you get your podcast. Some baseball to get to this hour. We'll talk about a weird thing going on in the desert for the Arizona Diamondbacks, and are the Mariners for real? Cal Raleigh's back. At least I hope. But let's jump over into the NFL case. I know we're getting closer, and it feels like college football's dominating us because it is on the precipice of starting. But don't we have that old saying that half the teams in the NFL that made the playoffs don't make the playoffs the next year? Well, I kind of wanted to put that to test. I know lots of times the Super Bowl hangover of the loser of the Super Bowl tends to be real. But if there are 14 teams that made the playoffs last year, that means we need to find 7 that are not going to make the playoffs this year. I'll read them off in order of seeding. In the AFC, at number 1, you had the Denver Broncos, followed by the New England Patriots, Jacksonville at 3, Pittsburgh at 4, Houston at 5, Buffalo at 6, the Chargers at 7. Scrolling over to the NFC, 1 through 7, you had the Seahawks at 1, the Bears at 2, the Eagles at 3, 4 is Carolina, 5 the Rams, 6 the Niners, 7 the Packers. Seattle takes down New England in the Super Bowl, but you already knew that. Casey, are there 7 teams between these 14 that don't make the playoffs this year?
I could see it happening.
I like New England to miss the playoffs.
I don't know about that one. Their division, they're going to make a wild card.
I mean, if I had to, I would take New England in this. Give me your Steelers.
Come on, son.
Sorry, buddy. The Carolina Panthers could miss. I think the Eagles could take a big backseat this year.
I think the Broncos could take a huge step back.
Do you think so? See, the Broncos are the one that I think I'm the highest on.
Their division got better.
Oh, yeah.
Patrick Mahomes was hurt for the second half of the season.
Agreed.
So there's that. So there's a few games that you're probably not getting.
But I love Denver's defense, and adding Jalen Waddle was huge for them offensively.
But Denver's defense is also the same defense that got 70 points dropped on their forehead by Mike McDaniel.
That is true.
And Mike McDaniel now plays them twice a year.
That is true. The Chargers could be one that don't make the playoffs. If you're, to your point, if the Raiders take a little bit of a step, and if the Chiefs are better than they were last year, they could cannibalize.
I think
they really could.
I really think it's the Broncos are the team out of the AFC West that gets bounced.
Oh, wow. I couldn't disagree more with you. That's fun. That's fun.
I like that one.
Yeah, I mean, I like Carolina to win that division again, but I could see Carolina not making it if Tampa makes that jump. You know, again, that division is getting better in the sense that I think New Orleans will be better. Atlanta might not be better. Have you heard the Tua news going on right now?
And Michael Penix will not start on Friday's preseason game.
They are saying that this is such a little tangent, but I saw this and I can't holster it any longer. They're saying that Tua Tagovailoa may be the first ever quarterback to lose a quarterback competition against nobody. That's what's coming out of Atlanta right now. There is no competition because Penix is not healthy and Tua's losing.
Cooper Rush.
That is insane, dude. That is freaking-sane. Now, do I think these teams won't make the playoffs? No, but I'm trying to find reasons why 7 of them could. Look, I think the AFC North is going to be a lot better than it was last year.
I think the NFC North is going to have a lot more of a change-up as well.
The Packers could be the odd man out, you know?
Detroit lost that division. They lost that division. They didn't win that division. They just threw away games.
And the Vikings, if Kyler Murray is sustainable, then they'll be a lot better as well. The big one for me, I'm being honest, and I know I got some texts on this the other day, and feel free to share your thoughts, 503-864-6326, or over on the YouTube chat. I worry about the Philadelphia Eagles. I worry about the Eagles offensively. I worry about that wide receiver room. Look, I love Devonta, and we'll see what Mekhi Lemon looks like in the NFL.
They're very undersized at the receiver room
exactly.
with Mekhi Lemon and Devonta Smith.
Yeah, losing A.J. Brown is a big deal.
But you have the most versatile running back that I think the NFL has ever seen.
Absolutely, but you also have maybe one of the most polarizing quarterbacks in all of the NFL in Jalen Hurts. Okay? Like, Lamar, we can kind of critique and question some Lamar.
But that's a true MVP.
Yeah, Lamar's Jalen Hurts on steroids.
Died in the wool.
Yeah, so I'm not, but... And I think the noise in Philly is going to be really loud this year. And that's why I think the Eagles might. Look, a lot of people are high on the Cowboys this year. A lot of people are really high on the Cowboys. Offensively, last year they were great.
I'm one of those guys.
All those big offseason additions that they added. So if Dallas gets in, that's got to probably knock one of these teams out. If Dallas gets in, my money is on either Philly. I mean, dare I say,
the Giants and the Commanders are fire right now.
I know, and everybody wanted the Commanders to be better, but I don't know if they've got it.
I just don't see the Giants succeeding this year. Their offense is way too much of a question.
Can the Niners be a team that doesn't make the playoffs?
Yeah, injuries.
Yeah.
There's always the injuries. But they're going to take games off. They're going to probably win 8 games and steal a few important games off of people in that division.
And that's 10, and that should get you to the playoffs. That should get you in. The Rams aren't going to miss. I don't think the Seahawks miss.
I don't think they do either.
I
think at most the Seahawks make a wild card.
I don't think
at
least I think so as well. I don't think the Bears miss. I'm curious about the Packers.
That one I do think they miss.
I'm curious.
The Bears and the Packers, yeah, that's my most interesting situation.
It could flop to Minnesota, Detroit.
Detroit lost that. I mean, Detroit just they weren't there at the end of the year.
Yeah,
that's a real big shocker. So I think Detroit, if they don't figure it out by early on in the season, they're either sitting at the bottom figuring out a rebuild, or they're going to run away with this division.
And I know that this idiot, yours truly, picked Green Bay to win the Super Bowl last year. And I understand in hindsight how bad that looks. But it's a big year for Matt LaFleur. Big year for Matt LaFleur in Green Bay. Micah's obviously not going to start the season. He'll be available a few weeks later. Can he get that defense rolling? Look, every time the Packers are good, every time the Packers win a Super Bowl, I don't care who the quarterback is, it's because they have a good defense. Can this defense turn it around? Because the offense looks like the kind of middling Packers offenses we've seen through Aaron and Brett's career. I like that receiver. I like that tight end. But there is no Jordy Nelson. There is no Donald Driver. There is no Antonio Freeman. But they are really talented top to bottom. Mm-hmm. Like if you average rated that Green Bay roster, I think it rates pretty high despite not having guys in the top 5.
Yeah.
Their running back is not a top 5 running back. Their quarterback's not a top 5 quarterback. Well, they could have a top 5 running back.
That's up there.
That's up there.
Josh Jacobs is
I'll give you that.
Is as elite as running backs come.
But if you notice, like the receiving room, okay, good.
Starting to add pieces.
Yes,
okay.
Good. Not elite, but good.
Mm-hmm.
I like Denver's a little more. That there's definitely people whose receiving room I like more.
But did you like Denver's last season?
No, did
Again,
not.
that's the thing is they added the right pieces. That makes you look differently. Green Bay didn't add the pieces that I think they needed. I thought they lost players. They lost Quay Walker, their leading linebacker, but they replaced him with Zaire Franklin. I don't necessarily have an issue with that. My biggest issue is how many games can you hold off of until you have the anchor of your defense in Micah Parsons?
And lastly in this, if doesn't go down last year for the Indianapolis Colts, does Jacksonville or Houston get knocked out of this? Indianapolis, there's another team similar to Green Bay. Maybe not the most amazing, but top to bottom collective have a really nice roster.
They lost a lot of pieces.
Yeah, but they'll have Sauce back.
Alec Pierce is still hurt.
Jonathan Taylor's a top back if he's healthy.
Jonathan Taylor's a top back, but how can they pass the ball if Keenan Allen's their number 1 receiver?
That's true. Losing Pittman is a tough one for them.
We saw how much Justin Herbert struggled when that was the case in L.A.
But do we think the Ravens are a playoff team this year?
I think they're a wild card team.
Okay, so someone's got to go out. Do we think the Chiefs are a playoff team this year?
100%.
Somebody's got to go out. There's 2. Can the Colts make the playoffs this year?
I don't think so.
Okay. There's a fringe one there. I
think there's a lot less parity in the AFC this season than there will be in the NFC. I think the AFC, much more parity in the AFC than there is in it. I think the AFC
I don't know who's clear cut.
I think it's going to look very similar AFC-wise to how it looked last year, minus maybe the Chiefs, plus maybe the Chiefs. NFC is going to look very different.
Who's the best team in the AFC this year?
Right now, just on paper, Houston?
Oh,
no, it's Buffalo. It's Buffalo.
Is it Buffalo?
Yeah, it's Buffalo. Josh Allen, Superman.
Yeah,
it's tough to bet against.
I think I like Denver's roster better than Buffalo, but Josh Allen covers up a lot of warts, especially if he dons the cape.
And I think that game could have gone either way.
Well, if Josh doesn't do stupid things in overtime against Denver, they win that game and they beat New England.
Josh was forced to do all that stuff because his number 1 receiver was Khalil Shakir, who plays a slot receiver and was hurt towards the end of the year.
Without a doubt. However, unfortunately, as a quarterback, it's going to fall on you. But if he doesn't
100%.
make those mistakes, whether they're forced or unforced, unearned or earned runs.
How much can DJ Moore elevate this receiver core?
And if they get to the AFC Championship last year, if they do get out of Denver with that W, they beat New England.
Yeah.
And then it's Josh Allen in a Super Bowl.
Again, Josh Allen versus that defense, that's a nightmare for New England.
Without a doubt. And then we see Josh Allen versus Seattle, and that would have been a good matchup. Something to keep an eye on. We come back, let's slide over into baseball. Something going on in Arizona that I find very, very, very strange. We'll go there next. 105.1 The Fan.
The home of
(503-864-6326) is the fan text line. Come hang out with us. We love to hear from you. We're over on the YouTube chats. Jumping over into a little bit of baseball. Weird story coming out of Arizona that I've been trying to follow for the last few days that I don't really understand what's going on, but let's paint the picture for you. Ketel Marte, the second baseman, and probably the best player. Corbin Carroll's probably the best player on the Diamondbacks.
No.
What?
I'll give it to Ketel any day.
Yeah, you think Marte is a better player than Corbin Carroll?
I think he is way more electric. Plus, Corbin Carroll can't stay healthy.
That is true. Corbin Carroll does have some issues staying healthy. Okay, so for the sake of argument, let's say the most important player
I'll give you
for the Arizona Diamondbacks in Ketel Marte. It all started last Monday. The Diamondbacks lost to the Red Sox 11-1 in Boston. Okay? Nobody cared about that. Everybody just wondered, where is Ketel Marte? Torey Lovullo, the manager for the Diamondbacks, did not submit his lineup card until like 10 minutes before the game started.
And when you're a fringe wildcard team, that's concerning that one of your top players just isn't to be found.
Right. He no-showed at the ballpark. And, I mean, it's even weird for a manager to turn in a lineup card 10 minutes before opening pitch, before first pitch. So you've got that as well. Torey Lovullo was asked after the game about the absence and the unknown whereabouts of Ketel Marte. He said, quote, "All I know is he's dealing with a personal issue. We're trying to figure that out. I was doing my best to reach out to him, and there's very little coming back." Okay, let's fast forward a little bit. They placed Ketel Marte on the restricted list before the game even concluded. This is an article I'm reading from Balin Weissef on Yahoo Sports. And he says they placed Marte on the restricted list before the game even concluded. What separates the restricted list from the injured list is that within the club's rights, they can stop a player from participating in games and, more importantly, suspend pay for failing to report. So you're like, okay, the Diamondbacks are just covering themselves here. They don't know where he is. He's not responding. Is this a mental health crisis? Is this a family emergency? Is this, did his planes get mixed up? Is he medically not okay? 2 days later, it said that Marte flew back to Arizona to get an MRI, the scan on his left knee, which forced him to miss the game prior on Saturday, but not Sunday. So he just MIA'd. The MRI returned with inflammation. They put him on the 10-day IL. Okay? Makes sense. Still kind of weird that he's nowhere to be found for a game. He's hurt. Okay, why don't you go back home and rehab? That was Thursday, and he met with Torey Lovullo and the GM that day. Lovullo said, "I thought it was a productive meeting. We were able to say things that we needed to say to one another. We are going to turn the page on this as quickly as possible." But here's where things get really, really weird. After his day at the rehab facility, he was seen for hours at Talking Stick Resort and Casino on Friday night while the Diamondbacks were playing a game at a casino, drinking and gambling for hours on end. Now, they asked Torey Lovullo about this, and he said, quote, "When you're turned loose from the medical team over there, you're allowed to go home and have an evening with your family. So he's free to do whatever he wants. It's not a choice I would make. As long as he wakes up tomorrow and gets his work done at Salt River," which is the rehab facility, which I'm certain he will, that's all that matters right now. The problem with this is these guys are in a playoff hunt right now. He can come off the IL on August 30th, which would have a minimum miss of 13 games. But these are some of the most important games you could absolutely play right now. They are within reach of the wild card spot. And you need this guy to play for you if you think you are going to make it. Relief pitcher Kevin Ginkel said, a lot of players are frustrated with how it happened. People have stuff going on and off the field that we have to push through. And I think it's important for us to rely on each other. This is a bad time to have the team to start to turn against you. And Ketel Marte, for as electric as he is, he comes with a lot of attitude, a lot of personality.
To me,
he's got a lot of jazz chisel in him.
To me, this is star treatment. You see this kind of along every sports league where, again, guys are very good at blocking out the outside stuff and just bringing their lunch pail to work and putting in the grind.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when it happens to the star, we like to give the star the benefit of the doubt and say, oh, he's got all this pressure on him, this, that, and the other. Again, immediately our jump was is this a mental health thing?
Mm-hmm.
We hope he's okay.
Right.
We're giving him the benefit of the doubt immediately.
Right.
And I think players in the locker room and other players who don't get that benefit of the doubt, they start to see that and go, come on, man.
And I think we're starting to learn that maybe a player like Ketel Marte doesn't deserve that benefit of the doubt anymore.
Sometimes, yes.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing that exposes. And look, and it's a tough thing, baseball, basketball, football, whatever it might be. If you're trying to make the playoffs, you need Ketel Marte badly. But what precedent does that set?
Again, he's your leadoff hitter. He's the most electric guy in your lineup.
You're one game out of the wild card right now.
What makes that lineup make sense in my eyes? Because to me, the Arizona Diamondbacks, they're kind of a rat pack team where they don't make a lot of sense. But you put Corbin Carroll and Ketel Marte in that infield, that makes sense to me.
Old man Arenado at third, still doing old man Arenado things.
Again, you tell me that's your infield.
Geraldo
I have
Perdomo.
a hard time getting out of it. If I'm hitting, if I play small ball, or if I don't leave the yard with every swing, I worry about playing that team.
Yeah, Perdomo at short has not had the offensive year that he did last year in quite a big explosion, but he's a very good player as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I almost feel, because it sounds like this isn't the first time with him. And so if it's not the first time, unless you do something, it's not going to be the last time.
This just seems
do
like
you send him home for the rest of the year?
It seems just like a bubbling over kind of effect.
He'll float out all these rumors at the trade deadline that he wants to be traded, and then Arizona's like, hey, we're about to trade you this place. And he's like, no, I don't want to be traded. I want to stay here. It's kind of like, oh, okay, man, like, what do you want? And I think Torey Lovullo is a damn good manager. I think he's a top 10 manager in baseball easily. He took that Diamondbacks team to the World Series when they lost to the Rangers. That D-backs team had no business being in that World Series.
Not at all.
And Torey Lovullo is the reason they did it. He was a bench coach for Alex Cora in Boston. I think he's been great. He does a lot of interviews. He's very media-friendly. I listen to a lot of stuff from him. He's a great listen. He knows baseball really, really well.
Him and Pat Murphy are my two favorite managers in baseball.
I love Kevin Cash. I'll throw him in that. Tito, obviously, but I'm biased.
But managers that elevate their team.
Lovolo's one of those. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of precedent Lovullo puts on Ketel Marte and if he sticks with the team for the rest of the year. Let's stay in baseball a little bit. That team up by 5 somehow has a little bit of life to them. And does it start behind the dish? We'll go there next. That's Casey over there with sports.
Now, from the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, some Portland Timbers news for you, as Scottish club Rangers have agreed to a deal with Timbers to sign forward Kevin Kelsey. According to Tom Bogert of The Athletic, unconfirmed reports state that the club has purchased his contract for $13 million, as Kelsey has been a premier goal scorer for the Timbers this season, creating 11 goal contributions in just 20 matches. Over to the WNBA, as your Portland Fire fell to Paige Beckers and the Dallas Wings 96-78 last night. 5 Wings players finished the game in double figures, as Beckers posted her third double-double of the season. She finished with 22 points, 11 assists, and 2 steals. Fire are back in action this Friday, taking on the Atlanta Dream in College Park at 4:30. Some NFL news for you, as New York Giants wide receiver Calvin Austin III suffered a torn ACL in his right knee. Austin went down while running a route in Giants practice on Tuesday and was poised to play a significant role as a slot receiver, and he will now miss the entire 2026 season. And finally, some NBA news for you, as Benedict Mathurin has agreed on a 2-year, $16 million deal with the New Orleans Pelicans. Last season, Mathurin averaged 17.6 points, 5.4 rebounds, and 2.4 assists in 54 games with the Pacers and the Clippers. And for more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm lowercase from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work, insurance companies acting like jerks. Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
The home of dirt and spray.
Web Gems coming up next, everybody's favorite. I'll ask a question that I forgot to ask when this broke last week, but I'm going to ask the question. A little NBA action for you there in Web Gems. But sticking in the world of Major League Baseball, look no further, fella. You may have found it. Don't look now. The Seattle Mariners a little bit on a hot streak right now. They took 2 of 3 from the Cubs. They have the opportunity to sweep the Phillies this afternoon. Brian Wu on the bump against Jesus Luzardo. And the Cubs and the Phillies both have World Series aspirations. We've all agreed that the National League is a lot more competitive and a lot deeper than the American League. And if the Seattle Mariners can get out of this homestand winning some games against the Phillies and the Cubs, well, that's got to put you in the right kind of feel. Now, what's the reason they've got there? Well, dare I say it might be because of Cal Raleigh. Cal Raleigh hit 3 home runs in a game 2 nights ago. He went deep again last night. If this is a healthy, fully ready to go Cal Raleigh, Julio went deep last night. If this is the night before, excuse me. If this is a healthy getting into their stride, it's better late than never because they only sit 2.5 out of the division, 3 out of the wild card. And what's interesting is I've been famously saying, and I think a lot of people in the baseball world agree with this, or I agree with them, however you want to put it, that the Mariners have a better chance at winning the division than they do winning the wild card. But when you look over at the wild card, they're 3 games back, but they now only have the Orioles, Rangers, and Guardians in front of them. 3 days ago, it was like 5-6 teams in front of them.
Yep.
Now it's only 3.
You were looking at 6-7 teams competing for a wild card. Now it's starting to dwindle down.
Yeah, and this gives you the opportunity to have more outs to make the playoffs. Now, I know if you're the Seattle Mariners and you're a Mariner fan, they should win this division. This division is buns. Houston's fire selling everybody. We talked about that yesterday.
Jordan Alvarez is still going to win an AL Triple Crown, but they're bad.
They're not good. The GM got fired. The manager was told he's not coming back next year.
They have a minus 42 run differential, yet they're leading their division.
And guess who's right behind them? The Texas Rangers, who have a minus 41.
Seattle Mariners at minus 51.
Agreed, but Seattle, on paper, wildly better than both of those squads. In fact, if you took the best players on Texas and Houston and put them, the best batters, and put them in a lineup, I still think the Mariners would have a better lineup.
I think I'm with you there.
I mean, Jordan is Jordan. There's no beating that. He is the best player in the American League this year, and the stats back it up. This is the time. This is the time if you're the Seattle Mariners. You're throwing Brian Wu today. George Kirby last night was fantastic. Fantastic. And that's what you're going to need to go down the stretch. Look, Bryce Miller's been bad. And I don't know if Cade Anderson takes his place or how you want to approach that. But you have some starting pitching issues. I don't think the answer is bringing up Ryan Sloan. I didn't think the answer is bringing up Cade Anderson.
But you needed a lefty in that rotation.
Mm-hmm.
You needed.
You did. And that's why he's there. You're going to throw Wu tonight. Then you go on the road to Toronto. Your 3 starters in Toronto are Emerson Hancock on Friday, Cade Anderson on Saturday, Bryce Miller on Sunday. The problem is you are walking into the Toronto Blue Jays, who are still alive and still trying to fight for that. They're going to throw Dylan Cease on Friday, who is fighting Cam Schlittler for the American League Cy Young.
Yep.
Saturday, they're going to throw Jose Soriano, who has not looked awesome in Toronto since he was dealt.
But has had some strong outings this season.
Since he's been dealt from Anaheim, has not been as good, but he has been a good all year. And the ageless wonder, look, I think he's kind of toast. It's Max Scherzer on Sunday, but Mad Max goes out there. He can still do stuff.
But that benefits you that you get to throw out Miller against their guy who's let up some runs.
And
hit and miss for Scherzer.
And after that, if you're the Mariners, I don't mean to play the schedule game, but this is how serious the schedule game is. After you go to Toronto, you go to Boston. You'll get Peyton Tolley, presumably, on Monday, the 31st.
It's hard.
Shout out preschool for your birthday.
It's hard not to like Peyton Tolley.
I know, right? On September 1st, it is slated to be that's Logan Gilbert versus Peyton Tolley. Excellent matchup on Monday. Tuesday would be George Kirby versus Sonny Gray, who's been very good for Boston this year. Wednesday, you get Brian Wu back on the bump against Sandoval for Boston, who's been hit or miss. The rest of your schedule, follow me on this. 4 at home against the A's, 3 at home against the Rangers, 3 on the road against the A's, 3 on the road against the Angels, 3 on the road against the Rockies, 2 at home against Houston, and you finish up with 4 at home with Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Again, you get 3 matchups against the worst teams in baseball and 2 meaningful series against teams that are right on that wild card cusp.
Look, this is all breaking for you right now. The Mariners have the easiest schedule. By the numbers and by my eyeballs, the easiest schedule from here on out.
And Cal Raleigh heating up, that's what we call perfect timing.
Look, I still think this team's got a lot of issues. I still think Dan Wilson doesn't know what he's doing back there.
100%. I have a lot of issues with how they're doing the 6-man rotation. Dan Wilson's had a few bad moments of leave a guy out there or bring him in too early. But that's baseball.
Yeah, why he left Cade Anderson in as late as he did, I have no idea. I will never understand that in my entire life. But you said it, dude. You get 3 games at home against Texas, who you're fighting for playoff position. You get 2 in September against Houston at home, who you're fighting for playoff position. They might be toast by then. This is your opportunity to salvage something. And look, the American League Central is not a maze. We'll see how it plays out. But as far as win-loss records, if you're trying to, the Mariners are 5 games behind the Chicago White Sox for a bye and not playing wild card teams. Can you pull that off? I think you can. Now, the problem is the number 2 team with the easiest schedule in the American League is my Cleveland Guardians, and they're only 2.5 back from Chicago. So if they can catapult off their easy schedule as well and leapfrog the Chicago White Sox, and I win $125 at A&A, and they win the division, they might finish with a higher record than Seattle. But get in. That's the name of the game right now. This season has been so lost and so dysfunctional, and the only guy playing worth a damn on your squad is the guy who's going to walk in Randy Rosarena. Mm-hmm. Right now, the name of the game is just get in. Just get in. If you can get in, anything can happen. Because if that rotation, if George Kirby throws like he threw yesterday, if Logan Gilbert throws like he threw his last start,
Brian Wu
and if Brian Wu throws like Brian Wu, that's a 3-headed monster right there. Hancock's been really solid this year. I don't love them in the World Series as much as I did, simply because I did not see Dan Wilson having this much of an issue, and I do think that will eventually bite them. But hey, man, we've said it all season. The American League is buns. It's buns, dude.
It's open.
You got a chance. Open. I don't believe in the Red Sox, although their starting rotation's been really nice of late. I like the Yankees starting rotation, but I got to see Aaron Judge.
I got to see the 2 best players in pinstripes play baseball.
Yeah, Belly's back, which is a big plus. Stanton might be out for the year. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Giancarlo can't run. That's only why we have Paul Goldschmidt. That's what you do. You come in and pitch hit, and you hit tanks.
Look, I don't want to jinx it, but I think the Mariners have a chance. They could do this. I could easily see the standings finish. The Rays winning the East.
Again, the Rays have the hardest end of the year schedule. I could see my Yankees winning that division.
I know I'm biased here.
4 games back.
I could see my Guardians hop the White Sox, but I still think the White Sox make the playoffs. And I could see the Mariners make the postseason by winning that division. That would put the Yankees as a wild card, the Red Sox as a wild card. Those aren't going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then the White Sox probably. And that's your playoff. And
yep.
I feel better about that. If you told me at the beginning of the year, your playoff teams are Tampa, New York, Boston, Chicago, Cleveland, Seattle, I'd have been like, Chicago? That's a weird one. The rest of them, Cleveland won their division last year. Seattle was in the ALCS Game 7 last year. That wouldn't have shocked me. Tampa maybe surprised me as the one. But if you watch Tampa, it's easy to tell.
We got to talk about this White Sox turnaround. This is one of the greatest turnarounds I've ever witnessed in baseball.
Let's wait for Marang to do that, because I know he's watching a ton of Chicago White Sox baseball right now. When we come back, it's everybody's favorite Web Gems. Mariner fans, figure it out. Turn it around. This is your opportunity. Web Gems is next. 105.1 The Fan. All right, everybody's favorite Web Gems, do it every single day at 11:45. Coming up in the big nooner, we'll get to the top 10 G-Spot. We'll debut and tell you the top 10 G6 teams going into the college football season this year, the ones to keep an eye on. There's a lot to get through, so I'm very excited about that. A little more baseball news, but more Mark Walters specific news, ownership stuff, TV deals, and we will get into this Timbers news that broke this morning as well, plus closing arguments to send you on your way. Web Gems today is brought to you by a question that we should have asked when this happened that we didn't. It was breaking news. I believe Danny was still here when it was breaking news. And that is that James Harden signed a 3-year, $97 million contract to remain with the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I was thinking about this the other day. I was listening to follow some NBA stuff, and Bill Simmons has been on fire of late, and Zach Lowe been on fire of late of some podcast stuff and some really good content for offseason NBA, which usually I find to be kind of a drag. But this offseason I found kind of interesting. Not just Blazers stuff, but kind of, LeBron, Paul George, Jaylen Brown, Giannis, Luka. There's some Luka news that I want to get to tomorrow with Danny. But it had me kind of thinking about James Harden signed a 3-year for $97 million in Cleveland. Now, is James Harden worth probably 3 years, $97 million? Yeah, probably. But here's my question. Who else was going to pay James Harden?
That's a really great question.
Who was Cleveland competing with to sign James Harden for $97 million?
I mean, it's James Harden. He's still a bona fide scorer in the league.
Understood.
But I'm with you there. Maybe in Atlanta, I really don't know. I'm trying to make sense of where I see him fitting on a roster, and Cleveland's the only thing that really makes sense to me.
I agree. Now, if it's the only thing that makes sense, why don't you lowball him a little bit? Or is there...
This is James Harden we're talking about.
Or is there maybe a handshake agreement?
James Harden's just a bagman. Again, one of 4 players in NBA history with $500 million career earnings. He's going to get a bag.
Oh, I understand, but why such a big bag if nobody else is going to give you a bag? Look, dude, I understand it's James Harden, but this ain't James Harden 10 years ago. As much as James Harden is good, he's 37. He's going to be 30. He just turned 37 today. Ha! Today's James Harden's birthday.
Happy birthday, James Harden.
Happy birthday, James Harden.
Nah, we ain't taking that.
I think that's the nicest thing I've ever said about James Harden.
I mean, he's a great player. It's hard not to deny that he has evolved the game in ways that
I hate.
Other guys can't.
In ways that I absolutely can't stand. I just don't know. A 37-year-old to pay $30 million a year is a little steep for me. Especially if I don't see anybody else interested in you.
I think they're just hoping that he just takes the relief off of Donovan Mitchell, so you get Donovan in those ISO situations where you can't go and double when Donovan drives, because if you double when Donovan drives, he just kicks it to James Harden, and that's not missing.
True, but Jim Harden was pretty brutal in the playoffs.
But that's playoff James Harden. We all know playoff James Harden. Regular season James Harden.
James Harden, I can understand paying $30 million a year.
James Harden in February and March might be one of the best basketball players I've ever seen.
Yeah, but in May and June might be one of the worst basketball players I've ever seen. You got more turnovers than shots? Mm-hmm. That ain't good.
Yeah.
Lastly, in the NBA, just to kind of throw a little bonus part in here, Benedict Mathurin signs a 2-year, $16 million deal with the New Orleans Pelicans. He was approached the Clippers about withdrawing his $8.8 million qualifying offer to find a better spot. Mathurin's only 24. He's 6'5".
Has great numbers.
Has great numbers. I thought he was going to be something that Indiana was really interested in, but obviously they shipped him out in the Zubac deal.
He's the number 1 scoring bench player in the league. Averaged 17.5 points coming off the bench, the most in the NBA. Minimum 20 games.
I'm surprised he only got New Orleans. This is part of that contracts in the NBA where a guy like Benedict Mathurin is not going to get paid. And a guy like Wemby is going to make $100 million a year. I find it interesting. I would have loved the Blazers to go after him. I would have thought if the Blazers grabbed him before they traded for Ja Morant.
That would have made sense.
That would have made sense to me.
Made a lot of sense.
It made a lot of sense. I like Benedict Mathurin a lot. I know Danny's not as high on Benedict Mathurin as I am. But 17.5 points, 5.5 boards, 2.5 assists, 43% from the field. That's a good little player. I'm surprised New Orleans is the only place that he could have landed. You know? Could have seen something way more. I don't know, if like for $8 million a year for 2 years. I mean, that's pretty affordable. You're going to New Orleans. I guess you hope you sign a 2-year contract-friendly deal in New Orleans. You play decently. You're probably going to start. You play decently down there, and then right at the deadline they move you. Is that what you're hoping? That's every time I think about a decent player signing in Colorado. I mean, you're waiting for the trade deadline.
I mean, that's what it seems to be that his career has been, is that he's just bounced around from team to fit the need. I mean, he played 54 games last season, 25 of them he started, but he played for both the Pacers and Clippers. Mm-hmm. Pacers weren't really a playoff team; they were the year before,
right? And he was pretty. He had a few good games in the playoffs.
He played a really important role on them. But that's a guy that, if you want to win now, get him on your roster.
I know. I think he's a good piece too.
Mm-hmm.
What if New Orleans is sneaky good this year?
No.
How funny would that be?
No, it wouldn't make sense.
No,
it's New Orleans.
You sure? Just asking the question.
No, I can't. I can't sell myself that.
Let's check this depth chart.
The West is loaded, and they're not it.
Trey Murphy III, Zion Williamson.
Okay.
Well, this team is buns.
Yeah,
dude.
there
this
you go.
This team stinks super bad.
Again, you named their 2 best players, and both of them were trying to get out.
I apologize. I couldn't even troll in that moment. I attempted, though.
He made the attempt.
DeJounte Murray, Jordan Poole. Let's go. Jeremiah Fears, let's do this.
Again, those are guys that are pros.
Sure. DeAndre Jordan,
but
Derek Queen.
That's the island of misfits.
Without a doubt, dude.
That's 100% the island of misfits.
There's a lot of people on this team that nobody wants, Well, let's get into it. All right? We will debut the top 10 G-spot of college football in 2026. Who are the best G6 teams? We'll break down some of these squads as well on a new edition to The Firm every Wednesday. The Big Nooner is next. 105.1 The Fan and the Fan Sports Network.
From the George McCoy and Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, some Portland Timbers news for you, as Scottish club Rangers have agreed to a deal with the Timbers to sign forward Kevin Kelsey. According to Tom Bogert of The Athletic, unconfirmed reports state that the club has purchased his contract for $13 million, as Kelsey, who has been a premier goal scorer for the Timbers this season, creating 11 goal contributions in just 20 matches. Over to the WNBA, as your Portland Fire fell to Paige Beckers and the Dallas Wings 96-78 last night. 5 Wings players finished the game in double figures as Paige Beckers posted her third double-double of the season. She finished with 22 points, 11 assists, and 2 steals. Fire are back in action this Friday, taking on the Atlanta Dream in College Park at 4:30. Some NFL news for you, as New York Giants wide receiver Calvin Austin III suffered a torn ACL in his right knee. Austin went down while running a route in Giants practice on Tuesday and was poised to play a significant role as a slot receiver, and he will now miss the entire 2026 season. And finally, some NBA news for you, as Benedict Mathurin has agreed on a 2-year, $16 million deal with the New Orleans Pelicans. Last season, Mathurin averaged 17.6 points, 5.4 rebounds, and 2.4 assists in 54 games with both the Pacers and the Clippers. And for more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm lowercase from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
The home of the Fan Happy.
Two down, one to go here, the final hour, the big nooner of the firm of Harris and Marang. We do this show every Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Thank you for being a part of our day. We are stoked to be a part of your day. You know the rules. After us, we'll turn it over to Duck Insider from 1 to 2. Then it's the Fan Happy Hour with good old Luke Anderson from 2 to 3. And then it's prime time, 3 to 7. Finishing up 13 hours of live, local, continuous, regional sports talk radio. It starts at 6:02 in the Rose City with Dirt and Sprague all the way throughout your day. Coming up this hour, we'll get a little Jeff Passan in our life as he's going to talk some TV deals to us. And then figure out what the hell's going on up at the park. I got some unfortunate news this morning. We heard some rumors going around, and I was hoping they would stay as rumors. However, they are no longer rumors, not confirmed by the club yet, but the sources I've seen claiming it are people that I trust. All right, let's get into it. We teased it in the first hour. New to the program on Wednesdays during college football season, we will bring to you the top 10 G-Spot. That is the top 10 G6 teams, the group of 6, if you're not familiar. The ACC, the SEC, the Big 10, and the Big 12 make up the Power 4. The group of 5 now becomes the group of 6 with the entrance of the Pac-12. And the college football playoff rules state that one team from the group of 6 must make the college football playoff. So who better than to sad panda myself, the alum of a G6 school, help you out in your learning, your understanding, what you need to know about the top 10 G-Spot teams in college football. Okay, so you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Without further ado, let's just get right into this. We'll break down some of these squads and take a peek and give you my reasons why I think they live here. Now, the most fascinating thing about this top 10 is my number 1 and my number 2 teams have first week matchups that could completely wreck them, even out of the top 10, let alone out of the 1-2 spots. But I think going into the season, in my opinion, these are the 2 best G6 teams in college football. We'll start at number 1, and that is the Boise State Broncos. They've got a hell of a first task on their road ahead. They take on Oregon in the first week, and that's going to be a big issue. The rest of that is manageable. They are the preseason favorite of the group of 6 in almost every single spot I look. Madsen returns at QB. He, for my money, is probably the best quarterback in all of G6. Defense will be their identity this year, despite them having a double-headed monster at running back. Again, their only problem is that they opened the season with the Oregon Ducks. They are favored to lose that game by over 20 points, I believe. I think it was 22.5 last I saw. But something that goes awesome with Boise State in their schedule, they get Memphis in week 2, who you may see later on in this, and they have the opportunity to roll through the new Pac-12. For my money, will be the best G-Spot conference in this season. You are at Washington State, which is going to be a little bit of tough, but you host Texas State, which might be good. You're at Colorado State, which is going to be tough, but the big one for me is you're hosting San Diego State. This is a very manageable schedule for Boise State. If you get out of Oregon without losing by 20, if you can keep that game within 15, that'll go a long way. But then you get home and you take on Memphis. You go 1-1 in those games and you run the table, you're in the college football playoff. At number 2, in the G spot, well, that is the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. I love what Dan Mullen's doing down there. Offensive guru. Dan Mullen may be one of the most perfect coaches to be built for a group of 6. Just, I'll find the Jimmies, the Joes. I actually have X's and O's. Even if I don't get Jimmy's, Joe's, we can make this thing going. He's been building a beast in the desert. He's going to play both his quarterbacks against Memphis, but I would assume it's most likely going to be Jackson Arnold, who has danced around a bit, has been a highly touted recruit who hasn't really found a home. I'm curious to see if his home is at UNLV. Coordinators are back. The best linebacker from FCS transferred in. Welch is their ball hawk pick 6 guy at corner. Their defense has got to play better. I've got UNLV at number 2. Number 3, we'll get into old Brian Newberry and Navy. Would it shock you if I told you that Navy are the number 1 rushing team in college football last year?
Not even a little bit. They don't know how to throw it.
They don't. They returned 4 offensive linemen from last year. They're returning their top 3 defensive players. They do have UTSA and Memphis, along with the hard one on their schedule is Notre Dame. So they're a little bit like Boise State. If they get killed by Notre Dame, which I expect them to do, but they can run the table in the rest of their schedule, they look pretty good. But the American, like the Pac-12, is quite a gauntlet. Number 4, I will give you the biggest threat, in my opinion, to win the Pac-12, and that is San Diego State. This is a team that was this close to going to the Big 12.
Really?
San Diego State. Opportunity to be one of the power programs in the Pac-12. You have California recruiting. Mm-hmm. You're not going to beat out USC and UCLA, but if you can pick up some scraps, it's not a bad place to be. Their identity is to run the ball. Lucky Sutton last year rushed for 1,300 yards. They had one of the top defenses in college football last year. They lost stars, but they're bringing in heavy in the transfer portal. Their biggest problem is they have UCLA, James Madison, Boise State, and the rest of that Pac-12. That is a brutal schedule. That is a brutal schedule. Their quarterback is a dual threat. He's a Michigan transfer. Can he stay healthy? That remains to be seen. At number 5, we have James Madison. They were 11-1 last year. This train keeps rolling. It doesn't matter who the coach is. Okay? Running back George Pettaway is back. He is not the guy who led the team last year, but they've been a running powerhouse as far as G5 schools, G6 schools go. Led the team in rushing in 2024, should be the top guy there this year. They got some of the top FCS transfers in all of college football. Zach Greenberg is a preseason G-Spot offensive lineman, All-American. I know that's a weird thing to think about, but that's a nice one. They have the easiest schedule of everyone. The toughest player on their schedule is at San Diego State in week 2. If they can run the table on that and then go through their whole thing, they might be in pretty good spot. And they're a little bit of the benefit of the easy schedule. They're the one team on this list that I don't love simply because I don't know how their resume is going to stack up. If Boise State has 2 losses, but it's to an Oregon team and to another really good team, Is that enough if James Madison's losses to San Diego State? I don't know if James Madison will bump them from there. But I'll take them at 5. Returning guys, nice transfer portal class, and an easy schedule. Number 6. Number 6 is my favorite. They're a team that I play this weekend that I'm excited to watch with my own eyeballs. And that is the University of Hawaii. Hawaii. Calling them the dark horse of the G-Spot. I heard Bill Connolly pick them to be the G-Spot representative in the college football playoff this year. That makes me really excited. Timmy Chang, the head coach at Hawaii, has really got this thing rolling. The offense has been pretty good over the last few years. Big wins last year against Cal and Stanford. Look, I know Stanford is down. I expect Cal to be a lot better this year with Tosh Lupoi behind the call, and their quarterback should take a step at Cal, so I don't want to necessarily hold that as too much of a, go Hawaii, you beat Cal last year. But Micah Alejado at quarterback should be the game changer. They had their Ashlock at wide receiver will improve. He had 76 catches for 829 yards last year. It's a new look Mountain West, and nobody quite knows how it's going to be. However, they run into the problem that a lot of these other schools do, and that's why I love the G-Spot conferences this year, is these schedules are kind of brutal. Okay, it's not that I have Texas and Oklahoma and Ole Miss, and I finished with Georgia on the road. But Hawaii, they have landmines all over their schedule. Stanford in week 1, who I expect them to beat. UNLV, New Mexico, Arizona State halfway through the season. What does North Dakota State look like in their first year in D1? Pluses, minuses all over the place. I love Hawaii at 6, and I want to see how high they can go. Dude, this is so great. I'm having so much fun with this, dude. Number 7, give me Memphis. They're returning only one starter. It's a right guard in Parker Mitchell. Charles Huff, the new coach at Memphis, brought almost all of his entire Southern Miss squad with him to Memphis. We've seen this work in the past. He took the Southern Miss squad from 1-11 to 7 wins the next year in an instant switch. If his guys hit at Southern Miss and he can get them into the Memphis big boy rule, then this might work for them. They open with UNLV. They by far have the most brutal schedule of all. I don't expect them necessarily to be on this list at the end of the year. But again, they sit in that position where if they can continue to power through this, they could be in a real good spot. They're at UNLV, they're at Boise State, they're at Tulane, they're at South Florida, and they're at Navy. Their 5 hardest games are all on the road. Finishing out the top 10, UTSA, Tulane, and New Mexico. We'll see how this thing goes. I'm excited. Just the idea of looking at these squads, watching more meaningful football, so when you get to days where you're like, boy, this schedule is buns. This day is garbage. I hate college football this week. Can it just be Sunday? Well, then you can start looking around. Let's take a look at week 3. I'm just pulling this randomly out of a hat. Oh, we already looked at week 3. Week 4, okay? Some games on the schedule, okay? Northwestern at Indiana on a Friday. Whoop, whoop, I don't care. Oregon at USC is that weekend. That's a nice matchup. Oklahoma at Georgia that week. That's a nice matchup. Texas A&M that week at LSU. That's a nice matchup. But just start keeping your eyes on some of these G-Spot teams and who they've got, and you will start to see some really, really nice games. I'm telling you. This is the way to go. To recap, the preseason top 10 G-Spot, Boise State 1, UNLV 2, Navy 3. 4th is San Diego State. 5th is James Madison. 6, give me the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. Number 7, Memphis. 8, UTSA. 9, Tulane. 10, New Mexico. How do we do?
I think you nailed it.
We do all right?
Except for the fact that our Washington State Cougars and our Oregon State Beavers, they'll crack that list.
You know, I think that would be really fun. I think it really would. And both those teams have big games early on, so we'll see what they're made of. I think those two teams, Oregon State and Wazoo, have better non-conference opponents than any of these. What makes these guys cool in the opening of the top 10 G-Spot is they are playing each other. And that, I think, is the best way to look at it. Not just, okay, well, Wazoo only lost to UW by 15, but Boise State lost to Oregon by 25, so WSU must be better than Boise State. No, we don't have to look at it this year. All the best teams, they all play each other. Wazoo's going to play San Diego State. So is Oregon State. They're both going to play Boise State. There's 4 teams right there in the Pac-12. All right? Every single Wednesday, we'll do the top 10 G-Spot, either at 12:15, 12:30. We'll figure it out next week when we'll see if there's any movement after week 0. When we come back, the Mark Walters situation is maybe worse than you realize. And the Dodgers may be getting away with highway robbery. We'll do that next. 105.1 The Fan.
The biggest.
Little did you know, you just need a little G6 in your life. Tired of watching Ohio State, Texas in week 2? Wow, baby, just switch over to the Big Ten Network. You get San Diego State at UCLA, baby. That's now the second best game that week. I'm joking, it's not. Oklahoma's at Michigan. But you catch my drift. Why not? Shout out to the text line for loving me and doing the G-spot. We're here for you guys. I promise.
I'm juiced up.
Yeah, you, me, Mike. Let's do it, buddy. You and me, baby. Some interesting things to get to here. This isn't really more of a baseball thing. This is more of like the Mark Walters fallout continues to go and go and go. And I don't really, look, when you start talking TV deals and how complicated things can be, it can get a little sticky. So why not just listen to a pro? This is Jeff Passan explaining the Los Angeles Dodgers TV situation.
Already saved $500 million. The Dodgers have already saved $500 million of TV revenue. And that's not an exaggeration. The deal that was signed with Time Warner Cable to televise Dodgers games locally was for 25 years and $8.35 billion. MLB and the Dodgers eventually agreed after negotiation that in year one of the deal, the Dodgers would pay revenue sharing on $130 million as opposed to the $84 million that the bankruptcy court said. And around that time, the Los Angeles Times reported that Time Warner was paying about $1.5 million a game for 140 games. So let's do a little math here. Assuming the Dodgers actually received around $200 million in that first season, they would have been expected to contribute $68 million to a shared revenue pool into which every team paid 34% of its local revenues. Instead, because that number was $130 million valuation, the Dodgers were charged around $44 million or so. And that's nearly $25 million in year one that the Dodgers were supposed to share and that they wound up saving. In 2017, the new collective bargaining agreement bumped the share of local revenue to 48%. The Dodgers' savings jumped even more. Sportico reported that the Dodgers are expected to receive around $320 million in local TV money this year. And that number aligns almost perfectly with our estimates that start in year one at $200 million and account for a 4% annual increase. Under the rules in which they're paying full freight, the Dodgers this year would be charged around $150 million to put into that shared pool. Instead, they're expected to contribute around $100 million. You keep playing that out, and the numbers get even bigger. The final year of the deal, 2038, the Dodgers are reportedly going to exceed $500 million in local TV revenue.
That's Jeff Passan talking about TV revenue and how they've skirted around this. And it's a wild situation because you go from broke boy owner who goes bankrupt in Frank McCourt, and you get all these wonderful deals, which allows you to make all this money. This is where it all started if you're the Los Angeles Dodgers. Now, the rest of the partners for the Los Angeles Dodgers have come out and said exclusively, we are not going to sell the Dodgers. What that means for Mark Walters, I have no idea. When you start getting into this clown car kind of fake numbers like this, no wonder they're able to do all this stuff and deferred payments and move stuff around. Because now, instead of sounding savvy about how you're going to get the best players in baseball, you're basically kind of committing fraud, is what it looks like, does it not? It kind of looks like you are paying Peter to robbing Peter to pay Paul.
It seems like
moving
there's
debts around
a lot. There's $1 million in discrepancy, is what it seems like to me.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's really important for this team to get their stakes together and figure out maybe how to get Mark Walter out of this.
I also think it's really important to highlight that for the MLBPA before this lockout comes December 1st, because you want to get out the owners who aren't willing to pay, and the owners that aren't willing to pay are the owners that don't have the liquid. And it's guys like this. Correct.
And it becomes really scary. Now you have other people. Stan Kasten is the team president and CEO. He is a partial owner. And then you have some dudes that don't really matter, like Peter Guber, and he's a co-owner of the Golden State Warriors, Hollywood exec. Todd Bowley's the co-founder of Eldridge Industries and a co-owner of Chelsea FC. Now Mark Walter is the controlling owner and CEO of Guggenheim Partners, which I don't know if you heard about Guggenheim, but it sounds like that they fronted LeBron James a bunch of money too. That I would think if I'm LeBron James, I'm very curious about what that looks like right now. Obviously, you have Magic Johnson a part of it. They're saying the team is not for sale, but if they start unraveling this TV deal a little bit more, which I know started from Frank McCourt's issues, I'm curious if they start to unravel this TV deal, they start to unravel more and more of the Guggenheim Baseball Management Investment Group, how many skeletons come out of that closet. Now, I don't think we ever get to a point where we're like, Dodgers World Series aren't real. Nobody actually counts those. I don't think we're going to get there. But I think this could set up to be really, really messy for the rest of Major League Baseball. And you said it, Case. If I'm the players union, Exhibit A. You have let owners run amok. This is how much money they're saving, how much money they're making.
And, again, they're not spending. It's the owners aren't spending. The Dodgers are spending, but you want to bring in more guys like this who have what I like to think of, theoretical money. It's not liquid. It's based off of valuations. And valuations are always going to change. Again, look at the Ishbia situation right now. Mm-hmm. Submit that if I'm the MLBPA, because the owners are finding out that they have less ground to stand on.
Now, let me ask you this question. Are the Dodgers spending money? And follow.
The appearance of it.
The Dodgers have one of the highest payrolls in baseball, okay?
But it's all deferred.
Well, exactly. So it's like, are we actually spending money, or are we promising to spend money? Like, Casey, can I borrow $5? I'll pay you back in like 2 years.
Again, it just highlights more of how these owners operate. It's the idea of money, not the actual liquid money.
And I think that's, again, another red flag in this Mark Walters ownership for the Dodgers. If Jeff Passan can sit there and talk to me for 2 minutes about how much money they're saving by not spreading money around, then why the deferrals? You know? Why do you need to wait? Why do you need to find an escrow account to put money in? Do we have shady money going around? Are we doing the Saudi route of laundering our money through sports?
Again, are you saying like robbing Peter to pay Paul? Where is Peter?
Yes.
Who is Peter?
Who is Peter? Exactly.
What is Peter?
Yes. I have no idea what's going on. Brick, are you just looking around the room and saying you love things? I love Lamp. Is that what's going on here?
It sounds like it.
See, this is the kind of stuff, if you're a Dodger hater, this is the kind of stuff you should be focusing on. This is the kind of ammunition, the kind of firepower you can throw back at people. Because look, the worst part about the Dodgers spending money on free agents and trading for awesome dudes is most of them are extremely likable. Shohei Ohtani, love him. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, one of my top 5 favorite pitchers in baseball. Freddie Freeman, super likable guy, Hall of Famer. Mookie Betts, World Series MVP in American League and National League.
Mookie Betts is one of the most likable players that and he's only played for teams that I hate.
Yes, exactly.
I freaking love that guy.
Tyler Glasnow, I've always been a Glasnow fan. I've always been a Blake Snell fan. You know, Tarek Skubal, he played for the Tigers, so I hated him because he's my enemy, but I never hated him as a pitcher. He's fantastic.
And it's really hard to hate Will Smith because he's just really good.
Exactly. Max Muncy looks like I go to the bar with Max Muncy. This is the kind of ammunition you need. That and their fans are kind of obnoxious. But this is the kind of thing, you guys just play with fake money. It's monopoly money. This isn't real. And what happens the day it comes crashing down? That could be the big problem. Look, we talk about it all the time. Are the Kansas City Royals cool with winning World Series in 2015 and not doing anything since? Yes, they are. Would the Brewers sell their soul right now to win a World Series this year and do nothing for the next 30 years? You bet your sweet bottom dollar they would.
You bet your sweet bippy.
But the Dodgers, when you have this kind of money in play and this kind of situation, if you fall on your keister and the books start opening up and look really, really bad, this can put you in a bad spot for a long time.
Again, winning hides a lot of issues.
For sure it does.
But once they stop winning, do we start highlighting those issues?
Go ask Michigan football how that works out for them.
Amen to that.
It's a pretty devastating morning locally. Up at the Park's going to be an interesting place on Saturday as the Timbers will take on Austin FC. I'll let you know why next. There's Casey with sports.
Now, from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1 FM and 1080 AM.
First on the Fan, some Portland Timbers news for you, as Scottish club Rangers have agreed to a deal with the Timbers to sign forward Kevin Kelsey. According to Tom Bogert of The Athletic, unconfirmed reports state that the club has purchased his contract for $13 million. Kelsey has been a premier goal scorer for the Timbers this season, creating 11 goal contributions in 20 matches. Over to the WNBA as your Portland Fire fell to Paige Beckers and the Dallas Wings 96-78 last night. 5 Wings players finished the game in double figures as Beckers posted her third double-double of the season. She finished with 22 points, 11 assists, and 2 steals. Fire are back in action this Friday, taking on the Atlanta Dream in College Park at 4:30. Some NFL news for you, as the New York Giants wide receiver Calvin Austin III suffered a torn ACL in his right knee. Austin went down while running a route in Giants practice on Tuesday and was poised to play a significant role as a slot receiver. He will now miss the entire 2026 season. And finally, some NBA news for you, as Benedict Mathurin has agreed on a 2-year, $16 million deal with the New Orleans Pelicans. Last season, Mathurin averaged 17.6 points, 5.4 rebounds, and 2.4 assists in 54 games with the Pacers and the Clippers. And for more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Casey Smith from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt, missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at warrenallen.com.
Your home for the Oregon Ducks.
Well, all this week you can listen to this fine program Monday through Friday, and during the Firm you can enter to win a pair of tickets to Journey on September 19th, 2026 at Veterans Memorial Coliseum. Tickets are courtesy of AEG Presents. All you got to do is listen for the text, for the code word, and text it into 503-864-6326. That'll put you in for a chance to win a pair of tickets to Journey September 19th at Veterans Memorial Coliseum. There's more details at 1051thefan.com. If you don't want to take your chances on the lottery, well, you can just go to rosequarter.com and purchase them yourself. Right now, if you text in the word Journey, that's JOURNEY to 503-864-6326. That will put you in contention to win a pair of tickets to Journey, one of the most famous rock bands in the history of rock and roll. Can I enter in this? Maybe I should try to get some of these tickets. Journey would be fun to see.
Oh, yeah, they're great live.
Yeah, Journey would be great.
Joe Fish talked about it yesterday. That Filipino dude can belt.
Yeah, dude, when the lights go down in the city. That could be good. That could be good. JOURNEY to 503-864-6326. There's a decent amount of news that came across this morning. It was not my favorite way to wake up. And look, we kind of heard the rumors and the rumblings that this would happen. I think we were just kind of hoping that maybe the window would close and it wouldn't get done. But Tom Bogert of The Athletic, who is somebody you can kind of trust on this stuff. Look, the team hasn't said anything. This is all speculation. I don't know anything personally. Nobody has said anything to me. If they did, I would share it with you. Tom Bogert is reporting that the Scottish club Rangers, who's one of the top two clubs in the Scottish League, have agreed to a deal with the Portland Timbers to sign forward Kevin Kelsey. Kevin Kelsey, as you've heard in Casey's update, contributed to 11 goals throughout the year, 9 goals himself, 2 assists. He's been very, very good up top, especially in the rejuvenation of this offense under Jack Cassidy and Martí Cifuentes. The good news, the Timbers will receive $13 million plus add-ons, and it includes a sell-on fee for the Timbers. If you're not familiar what a sell-on fee is, think about this. Team A, the Portland Timbers, sell player Kevin Kelsey to Team B. That is the Rangers, okay? Now, we don't know what the percentage is, but if the Rangers go on to sell him to another club for more money, the Timbers would recoup a percentage of that. It's basically the way to prevent somebody from fleecing you for a super-duper superstar.
It's like a compensatory, more of a, not a compensatory pick, but a compensatory fee.
Right. And so that is great. Now, Kelsey's 6'4". He's strong. He's got good pace. He's been very, very, very good of late. If you're looking for the positives before we get to the negatives, and I should have flipped it, in the last few years, Portland has raised, according to Tom Bogert, has raised around $35 million in outbound sales. That's Kelsey at 13, Evander at 12, Santi Moreno at 7, David Ayala at $2 million. And so that's a lot of money. That's $35 million to play around with. I know some people have talked about what are the chances of maybe moving on from some other players, i.e. maybe Anthony, the rumors that Finn Sermon is being pursued by other teams as well. That we can put to bed for a little bit while, or at least I hope. What'd you say?
I love Finn Sermon. He's fantastic. I wouldn't mind if we got something real big out of that.
If Finn
Timbers'
Sermon,
backline has been pretty bad this year.
Yeah, but Finn Sermon is clearly somebody
Finn Sermon is the bright light.
Yeah, he's the bright light that a lot of people have their eyes on. Now, there are some really kind of frustrating things about this article that Tom Bogert wrote, and it's kind of like, what now? He wrote, the Timbers are covered at center forward with Vincent Janssen signed this summer, as well as Gage Guerra, a squad player the team trusts for minutes up top.
And Janssen will be suspended for the Saturday because of the double yellow that he received against LAFC.
Correcto Mundo, in the 4 minutes he played in that game.
Correct.
Cifuentes will play with one center forward, so even if another doesn't arrive this summer, the club should be covered. And this is where I get a little sad. Portland plans to be aggressive with their under-22 slots to build out a stronger and deeper roster for Cifuentes. They can sign up to 4 players aged 22 or under by the winter and may sign one this summer. This is not what you want to hear when you get a team that's made $35 million off a bunch of high-profile guys selling.
To me, are we starting to find our identity in the front
Yes.
for the Timbers, though?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
Kevin Kelsey, I love Kevin Kelsey. I think he's a prolific goal scorer. He's fantastic. He's very versatile, and he's extremely young, so he has a lot of time to develop.
The rejuvenation of the offense in this Timber squad this season, since the managerial change, since the World Cup break, really.
But now it allows for Velda, DaCosta, Cole Bassett, Caicedo.
And that's where things have gotten a little tricky. I would say that the three biggest players that have really rejuvenated this offense since the World Cup break have been Kevin Kelsey, Christopher Velda, David DaCosta. And I'll throw a little flowers at Ari Lassiter, who's I think has nailed down that right side starting gig as a winger, and a little bit of Jimmer Forey on the left side, who's coming up front and throwing balls in the middle.
I think Jimmer Forey might be my favorite player on this team.
I've been enjoying him
he's electric.
A lot of lately.
He sits on an island and just cooks. Plus, he made a tackle on a ball against right on the goal line to save it and to keep possession for the Timbers against LAFC. It's one of the most impressive soccer plays I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem is nobody has that finishing touch like Kevin Kelsey does. Mm-hmm. And if Vincent Janssen's out, it means Gage Guerra most likely gets the start up top. But that means you're out of depth unless you're pulling up academy players.
And you just lost Felipe Mora and Kevin Kelsey, your two most prolific goal scorers from inside the box.
And look, Jake Zivin and I talked about this last night on a Timbers Fan. What the ceiling is for the Timbers this year, especially after a rough start. The ceiling to me is a 4, 5, or 6 seed in the playoffs and maybe winning that round. I think if Timbers finish in the 4th, 5th, or 6th seed, host some playoff games, but bow out, I think you look around and say that's a productive season, especially going into sprint season.
Yeah, right now Timbers sit at 9th. 21 matches played. They have, trying to find points here. Come back to me.
I can give it to you right now. Let's see. Table. The Timbers sit at 28 points. They are tied with Real Salt Lake and Colorado. Real Salt Lake has not been playing well of late, so there's an opportunity to jump them in the standings. And the best part about it is the Portland Timbers take on Austin FC this weekend. That might be the best news you can have, is to figure out the situation, whatever the hell it's going to look like with no Kevin Kelsey.
Get some points.
At least you're playing a team that is struggling right now.
Get some points.
They lost in Leagues Cup, or are they Leagues Cup tonight? Let me pull that up. I believe they played yesterday. Oh, they are tonight.
They're
playing
the quarterfinal against Toluca.
They're playing Toluca right now, who's maybe the best team in Liga MX this year. They will most likely lose that, but they are going for it.
But they're a minus 14 goal differential this season.
They're the 3rd worst team in the MLS.
Timbers are a +1.
Yes.
You will really hope that you can walk away with some points, ignite your scores, really get Christopher Velda and David DaCosta in full form.
And I think if you're looking for who's the one that's going to have to step up, it's going to have to be Cole Bassett. I am probably the bigger Cole Bassett fan of most people when it comes to, the rest of the media, the rest of the press that I've seen, and we talk about what could be great about this squad. I tend to lean very heavily on Cole needs to step up and play better, and I think Cole has stepped up and played better.
Yeah, I think a lot of that was when he first got here, it was, all right, he's going to ignite this offense and really do great from, is it the 8 or the 10 that he plays?
Huh.
What's the position that Cole Bassett plays?
Well, him and DaCosta kind of play the same position, the 10. Mm-hmm. I think Bassett,
10, thank you.
Bassett maybe plays a little more of an 8 to where DaCosta plays a little more of a 10, because Bassett will drop back a little more in defense than DaCosta will. So maybe that's the best way to describe it. But that midfield is going to really have to step up. And Ari Lassiter and Christopher Velda, it's so funny. We talked about this yesterday. It felt like DaCosta is finally being more selfish, because he's usually not a selfish player, but he's starting to be a little more selfish, and that's turning into goals. Mm-hmm. And Christopher Velda, who can be a selfish player, is starting to find the right moments to be unselfish, and it's creating goals. I just don't want to see that dynamic broken up. That's what I don't want to see. 503-864-6326. First Evander and now Kelsey. Hopefully they do something productive and big with this money they keep stockpiling. But I worry that the Timbers are the Cincinnati Bengals of the MLS. We'll be curious to see who replaces Kelsey's production that has been very good this season.
Yeah,
I think the Bengals is a little bit of a stretch. I think it's more concerning that it could be a little bit like the Blazers. You're stockpiling assets, But when are we going to see them come to fruition? When are you going to use them? And that's on Ned Grabavoy.
Well, I will say at least this roster makeup does make sense in the sense that the Blazers roster construction doesn't necessarily make sense yet. This roster construction for the Timbers does make sense. You have a lot of guys in the front that can shoot from outside, can shoot from all over, and can draw defenses out of the zones and create little pockets where you get these Kevin Kelsey goals. You're just not getting them from Kevin Kelsey or Felipe Moore.
Now, the good news is the transfer window closes on Wednesday of next week, September 2nd. Okay? So you got a little time. And I have to believe with the rumors going around of Kevin Kelsey being sold that Ned Grabavoy, the GM of the Portland Timbers, has started looking around for more options. Dude, you cannot run the rest of the season with Vincent Janssen and Gage Guerra. It is no offense to those two players. There has to be more depth.
Kevin Kelsey is the guy that has always been in the right spot. It's the reason why he has 11 goal contributions.
Yeah, man.
You need someone that finds themselves in the right spot consistently.
It's almost as dangerous as the Blazers running with no power forwards. Like, two guys is a little dicey. You'll want to find a third. Now, that third can be the best of the three, or that third can be in the middle of the three, or it can be the worst of the three. But you've got to find some depth there. Otherwise, you're in big trouble. I'm trying to stay positive about this.
I just don't want a new guy to come in and shake up the dynamic that Velda and DaCosta are establishing right now, because they're playing very strong football, and you don't want to take away from that. Because right now, I think this squad, if I could say whose team it is, it's Christopher Velda's team.
Yeah, now the
larger 99s.
Yeah, now the larger question is how can the MLS keep these guys here? That's the big question.
Yep.
Stop selling them overseas.
That'll continue to be
keep them in here. They're going to have to change how payroll and all that stuff works. Otherwise, people are always going to find the players that you build up.
And I think once you align the seasons, it makes it harder for guys to get poached.
Without a doubt. R.I.P. Kevin Kelsey, gunned down in his prime. It's fun to watch. Fun to watch. And if he makes it to the Premier League one day, I can say I seen that guy. I seen that guy play footy. We come back, closing arguments to send you on your way. 105.1 The Fan and the Fan Sports Network.
The home
Brought to you by Oregon Divorce Mediation Services, presented by our friends at Leskin Law. For more information, visit leskinlaw.com. Coming up on the program tomorrow, the triumphant return of one Daniel Marang. He will be back. So we'll have him and catch up with him. We'll take his thoughts on Blazer news, mostly Shaden Sharp and where he's been, and we'll definitely catch up with him post-wedding. It is a 10 Toes Down Thursday, so don't forget about that. But tomorrow, more importantly, we start between Thursday and Friday. A lot of interviews, a lot of guests are coming on the show. In fact, I was just informed that Blake Price is going to join us on Friday to talk Timbers and Austin FC. Tomorrow at 10:30, Tyson Alger will join us, our good buddy, as we will preview the Oregon Ducks season tomorrow. Chris Fetters from Dog Nation, he will come on to chat. We'll look at UW, their preview, and we'll kind of see what's on store for the Huskies as well. On Friday, Angie Machado will join us to talk Oregon State football, and you know Casey and I's guy, Alex Brink, on Friday in the Big Nooner will come in to talk to us about the G-Spot squad that is the Wazoo.
That's your quarterback?
That's my quarterback
coach.
Hey, think about that, dude. G-Spot school's on Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Nice way to go into the weekend. Oh, yeah, baby. So hang out for that. We'll look at all four teams in the Pacific Northwest over Thursday and Friday. We'll get back to a little normalcy with Danny in the house. Some housekeeping to get to. If you're looking for good pitching matches tonight, well, you just missed this game that just went final in Major League Baseball. Tampa Bay was in Detroit, and Freddie Peralta threw an absolute gem for Tampa, which is what they needed. That's why they paid for him. That's why they went and got him.
No, it is not what they needed.
That's
not what they needed.
That's why they went and got him. Not a lot. I mean, great matchups all over baseball today, but not a ton of great pitchers on the bump. Logan Webb is on the mound as Cincinnati's in San Francisco. He'll throw for the Giants. 110, Jesus Luzardo for the Phillies versus Brian Wu of the Mariners. That's your matchup of the day right there as far as pitching goes, and maybe as far as team-on-team goes. You get the Dodgers-Braves tonight. Roki Sasaki on the mound for the Dodgers. Bubba Chandler's going to throw for Pittsburgh tonight. We'll see how he finishes out his year there in San Diego. Walk-off game or extra innings game again last night in that series. Sonny Gray is on the mound for Boston tonight. He has been fantastic if you haven't seen him. And I suppose Mackenzie Gore for the Texas Rangers. They're in Chicago taking on the White Sox. Sean Burke. Not the sexiest pitching matchup, but a matchup with a lot of implications, at least for the baseball playoffs. Some other real quick things in baseball. Joey and Jesse Buss have been announced as part of the ownership group for the San Diego Padres. If you haven't seen stuff about Kwanzaa Jones as one of the new owners, she is electric. I would go check that out. Owners approve the sale of the Seattle Seahawks, so that's official. Liv is going bye-bye, but we already knew that. And then you had news out of the NFL.
Oh, yeah. A quote from Adam Schefter. Sources saying the NFL will provide clarity to clubs later today regarding league rules governing player eligibility that have been in place and remain unaltered. A player that goes back to college this season will be prohibited from signing with an NFL team this year. A player signed to an NFL contract who is subsequently cut as a free agent, he may sign with another NFL club, the CFL, or return to college, but that player is considered a free agent and will not be subject to a future draft.
Sources are also saying that the SEC will suspend the head coach for half a season should they sign players that have been on professional rosters. I'm looking at you, Lane Kiffin. And a fine that matches 50% of the sport's annual budget and revocation of league voting rights. Revoking their rights.
The NFL, which is holding a special league meeting Wednesday, also will remind teams of the rule that any player signed to an NFL contract who is subsequently cut as a free agent, that player may sign with another NFL club, or any player cut by an NFL team who returns to college this year still will be considered a free agent and therefore not subject to a future draft.
You know, it kind of feels like the Brendan Sorsby situation where we all got hot and bothered and screamed for a few days and yelled about how this is a travesty and this is the worst thing I've ever seen in college sports. Well, here we are. It's all getting cleaned up. It's all getting taken care of, because I do think there are certain situations that are dangerous enough that you have to take control of it right away. You cannot let it get out of control. And I think this is one of those.
And I'm guessing that they'll probably create special circumstances along the lines
Sure.
for certain players.
Sure, and then the big one is Tommy Castellanos has been granted his 5th year to play. He has signed at Texas Tech. Is there enough time for Castellanos to get and be the starter at Texas Tech? Is he the starter that puts him over the hump? Had some good times at Florida State last year. We'll see what he can do. Closing arguments are brought to you by Oregon Divorce Mediation Services, presented by our friends at Leskin Law. For more information, visit leskinlaw.com. Oregon Divorce Mediation Services, the alternative to divorce court. I want to thank Stephen Vaughn, Joe Fisher for holding it down for me. Danny will be back tomorrow. More importantly, thank you, Casey, for being here every day for me. For Casey Smith, I'm Patrick Harris. Go do something I would do.